Welcome to the KINJAZ Podcast. Here we will discuss dance, life, and whatever the we want.
We are, folks, welcome back to Kinjaz Movement in the Shadows. We are your host, Ben.
And I am Anthony.
And we have two brothers in the pod today. You may recognize them from America's Best Dance Crew Season 5 champions, as well as NBC's World of Dance Season 2.
Half of them.
Hashtag Tick Tick Squad. We have Charlie Nguyen and Chad.mayate of Poreotics.
Pew, 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 pew. Hey, how's it
Hello.
going? We're brothers.
Hello.
We're happy, and you know it.
And we're here.
Wow. We got you guys on the pod.
I'm
Chad,
here.
you're sitting here.
I know.
You're sitting here.
It's way more comfortable.
Is it? Oh man, we got to get you a better chair.
Yeah, we finally got Chad on this side, so that means this is definitely going to be a new experience. We have Charlie over here, which means it's going to be an experience.
It's going to be an experience.
What? I
Oh,
mean,
yes.
Charlie's no stranger to the podcast.
That's true.
I am no
Welcome
stranger.
back, man.
Thank you. I'm always
Mr.
happy to be
OG.
back. I'm always happy to be back here.
Where you been, dude?
Yeah.
I've been great. You know.
I didn't say how you been. I said where you been.
Oh, where I've been.
Where you been, bro?
Clearly, I don't know where I've been.
Oh, man.
I love this. This is a great start.
So let's
That's how we start. Yeah.
So we'll just tell the fans and clue them in on a little bit of a fun how this even came about. Obviously, you know, it's up to us to find engaging stories and great guests to share their experiences to offer possible inspiration and insight to all of our followers and fans. And that does not exclude some of the people that we often find ourselves in close proximity to all the time. And as funny as it may seem, I don't know if funny is the right word, even though we're very close and we have so much knowledge about each other, there are still things that can be uncovered in podcast format, and we are so excited and honored, formally and officially honored to have you two here today. Everybody, let's give it up for Chad and Charlie. Hey, that's my cue. I'm supposed to do that for you. You can't.
I know, you're right.
But I like that.
I'll edit it in for myself later.
Of course.
I mean, hey, you got Charlie, Mr. He helped you start this podcast
He
back in the day,
did.
didn't
He did.
You know, I was
A
a
part of
of
the tripod. Shout out Mike Fowler.
Oh,
Hey.
shout out Mike Fowl. I miss
There
you,
it
buddy.
is.
See?
Yeah.
History runs deep.
Yeah, we're from the brick and mortar. I'm from the brick and mortar era. You know.
There it is.
Era. What are we now?
Nick's also here.
Pew, 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 pew.
Oh, Nick's also here.
The
What's up,
Punchinator.
Ponchinator.
All right.
Punchinator.
So,
Ponchy Donchy.
you know, obviously bringing y'all in, there's clearly, like Ben was saying, more than just the tick. Obviously, you shout out Culture Shock and all that stuff. And,
Yeah.
you know,
Water.
y'all have had, y'all have had such a close tie. You know, we want to even get into your just your duo origins, because we know it's gone from like Pack. We know it went to like Poreotics. We know it went to things like Culture Shock. We know it went to, obviously we're here with Kinjaz and stuff like that. Charlie, you're Chad's best man at all three of his weddings. You know what I'm talking
all
about? Shout
three
out
of them.
Jolene.
Same woman.
Yep.
Same woman.
Same one.
All three of my
Same
weddings.
one.
Same woman every
Same
time.
one.
So,
Yep.
so you
The
two,
record.
specifically you two already have such a rich history, but at the same time, one of the topics that we've never really gotten a chance to even be able to like kind of dive into or even share with our fans is even your journey from like Poreotics over to Kinjaz and just where life is at now, you know, and once we like kind of flirt with the idea and the topic, it's like, oh my God, that's such a rich and interesting story. And there's so many experiences that have come in. Life has been so thick and full that, you know, now we are humbled and honored on the podcast today to get a chance to just talk about all that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, and it gives us an opportunity to. I don't think we've ever talked about this like publicly. I know I've been dodging those questions all the time,
Dodging bullets over here.
and I mean that was just for me. You know, I don't want to be just. I'm a private person in some sense, even though I do outlandish things on social media and YouTube, as Anthony has seen me on, because we've also had quests of things like that nature. But yeah, I'm happy to be here to talk about it. I think we're older now, you know, like those times were definitely in our younger ages, and we had a lot to grow from.
You already threw out some
Yes.
bombs that people
I
are
know.
probably
Yeah.
like, what are you
What
talking
are you-
about?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go ahead and start earlier days. You
Yes.
know, you guys already know the format. We always like to get into the origin. So I'll just start, you know, again, about your two origins specifically, just so we can, you know, have that rich history be shared with everybody.
I mean, it all started back in the land of Long Beachia. We were in a little castle called UC Long Beachia.
Isn't it Cal State?
Yeah, you're right. Just kidding.
But
Oh, yeah.
He's telling a story.
I'm just trying to get the
Telling a
details right for my
story.
notes so I can put it in the
I
show
got
notes.
you, Long Beach.
But it's
I
like
guess in this kingdom, it's a
yeah,
UC.
It's in this
Yeah,
kingdom.
it's
Oh, in this
UC.
kingdom.
It has to be
It's-
upgraded in
it's
order for the story to
semi-fictional.
work.
Totally, word,
Yes,
word.
Well,
I'm
I
just-
mean, if you want to be factual, yes, it's Cal State Long Beach.
No, it's cool. We went to Ivy League school. What was it? Irvine?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, the
Irvine
Ivy
is
League of
League
Irvine.
school,
Ivy
yeah.
League of Irvine.
Yeah.
And then like Anthony said, I was already dancing for like half a semester at for Pac Modern at Cal State Long Beach. And then my second year to 1 year, Poreotics came in and auditioned for Pac Modern. And that's pretty much how it started, where I got to meet the OG Poreotics, which is Charles, Ken, and Dumbo.
Oh wait, so Poreotics was already a thing before
Yes.
you were on it. So they came as a squad already. Like, here, we're Poreotics. We're here to audition for Pac Modern.
Yep.
Yes,
Whoa, I did
that
not
is
know
true. Yeah,
that. And you were a part of that auditioning team.
I was a part. I've been a part of it since I got the text from Dumbo saying, "Hey, you want to make a crew called Poreotics?" And I said, "What does it stand for?" And he said, "Popping Choreography Robotics." And I was like, "Oh, sick! Yeah, I'm down. I've never danced in a crew before, so this could be fun." Like the only dance experience I had was like maybe lip sync in high school.
Okay.
That was my first dance experience as well, by the way, at Sunny Hills.
It saved
Same,
me.
actually.
Oh,
Same for me at South High.
We just
South
started a
Hills.
crew called Lip Sync.
We
I'm
should.
down.
That's very dumb.
The
Let's keep
funny
going
thing
with the
is,
story.
I started that, but with just K-pop stuff, and I said this.
See, that's
So
already
should we-
cool. Like
That's
K-pop
way
is still
cool.
in. I
K-pop
don't
is
see
still
some
cool.
giant lip sync industry that's
Yeah.
rocking the world right now.
Well,
you know
there's
what
a
I mean?
lip sync TV show.
Oh, touche.
But do they lip sync
Okay.
K-pop?
I wouldn't
Is
assume.
somehow
too.
lip syncing K-pop cooler than just lip syncing? I didn't know that.
I think lip
just
syncing
felt like
any
it was all
language
one
that's not
category.
yours is
Interesting.
probably way cooler than lip syncing.
I heard we're gonna get back to the story.
Yeah.
Yeah. We digress. We digress.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
What story are you talking about? You
Yeah,
said
so
Cal State Long Beach,
you
right?
guys
Yeah.
You got the
auditioned
call.
for the Ivy League of Long Beach.
Yeah.
The Ivy League of Long Beach, and
Yes.
then the Poreotics was on Pac Modern for like that year, that semester, which was like 2008 to 2009.
Yes.
And then during that time, they picked up Law and Jet Li to add to that team. So it was like a squad of 5.
But Jet wasn't on Pac.
No, Jet wasn't on Pac. But from what I remember is you picked up Jet because Jet was just like fucking smashing it.
Jet.
He was
Just
dope.
smashing it in
Shout out
battles.
Jet. He was the CSLA popping captain
there you go.
when I was on the squad. That fool was always is nasty,
Yeah.
but you get it. Like he was for real ripping fools, Funny Bones crew, all that stuff. He was
Mhm.
I was always YouTubing his like battle videos and stuff like
Oh,
that.
yeah,
like, dude,
definitely.
Jet, nasty.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there was 5 of them.
Yeah, there was 5 of them. And then during like the time during their on Pac Modern, they picked up another 6th member onto Poreotics. Another Filipino guy on Poreotics. Not this Filipino guy who ended up being on Poreotics, but another guy. We like to call him the lost member.
Oh, Robert.
Yes.
Oh, AKA Robert.
AKA
yeah, I
Robert.
thought you guys were calling him the lost member, but now you might as well give the last name. You know.
Robert.
Yeah, it's funny because like we ran into him a few times during like
He was good. He's from
He's
San Diego.
great. He's from San Diego.
Yeah, he's from San
Shout out to Robert Prades.
That's yeah. Probably.
Yeah, because just context for that, a lot of people always like looked at Poreotics and they're like, "Oh, we loved your performance over at Fusion 2008, 2009."
Sure.
And then people think I'm the Filipino dude, and they're like, "Yeah, I loved you in that," and I'm like, "That's not me, bro." But thanks, you know. But long story short is that like he ended up moving back to San Diego and it got hard, so he couldn't be a part of Poreo anymore. And then Jet Li or Poreotics were going to do like Hip Hop International and stuff, but Jet Li but he went to Korea for like a trip just because he loves Korea and that's his thing.
Mhm.
At that time, he loved Korean
What year?
girls.
What year was this that you guys were getting ready for HHI?
2000.
We did HHI in 2009. Yeah, because you guys joined Pac Modern in 2008.
Yes, and I think we might have competed before that at HHI. Were you at the first one?
Yeah,
we
I was at the
competed
first one.
Oh yeah, then that's
Is this
exactly what I remember.
correct me if I'm wrong, was it Red Suspenders? Is it that one?
That was
Red Suspenders.
No,
No?
that was on ABDC.
Oh, my
yeah.
bad. All right, continue. Continue.
Yeah.
Sorry, different kind of fan.
Yeah.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah, I know. Time frames are kind of weird.
It is weird.
Yeah.
It still is weird.
Okay, so you
Yeah,
see, you had to get ready for HHI. You
Yeah.
lost a
Mhm.
Filipino dude named Robert.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you're like, we need to get another Filipino guy
To replace-
specifically.
Yes.
I mean,
And-
Filipino guys, there's a lot of them, you know.
I
and
know,
feel like we
especially in
had
the land of the UC Long Beach.
Yeah, we had to get the best
So-
one. Andrew, Chad, Fausto, Mayate. Yeah, I said
Heyo.
your whole name.
Hey,
I don't
thank you.
care.
There
Hey.
it is.
What'd you
Yeah.
say?
Revealed his
So how
gun.
did that come?
I
How did
did.
that come about, Chad?
I mean, unpack modern, like during like the Poreotics routines, I was always kind of in like the semi middle part with
Heyo.
Poreotics in the set because like I was semi in like Team ISO. No, I was Team ISO. I am Team ISO, baby.
You're
But anyways.
100% Team ISO. I don't even think
Yeah.
that there's a second option.
So then they picked me up as like a substitute for Jet, and then they had me do a couple of like a trial run, and I competed in a few of competitions with them right before HHI. Remember we did like a GMA.
Yes,
competition?
GMA. We played 2K in your car.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. We digress. So we did a few competitions before HHI to just test it out, and we ended up winning all those competitions. We got
Yes.
first place for all of those, and it's like, all right, cool.
wonderful.
And then so like you said, we needed a sub for HHI, and you needed a minimum of 5 people for HHI, Hip Hop International. We go there, just a bunch of Asian dudes wearing like khaki shorts, not like and just like stupid, just like tank tops because we didn't really take it seriously. We went there just like, where's a bunch of dudes? We're gonna go to Hip Hop International in Vegas because that's where everyone parties and dances.
I can't wait till you tell me which performance you ever took seriously. But yes,
Yeah, that's very,
continue.
that's very factual. But yeah, then we ended up taking first place for USA
Okay.
at
Heck yes.
HHI. And when you take first place for USA at HHI, you represent the United States
That's right.
against all the other countries in the world, right? Which at that year, our first year, we ended up taking 7th in the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then after that, since we got first place at USA, the guys were like, "All right, you could stay. We won. Good shit, Chad."
Okay.
Wait, really? Like that? It was like right after winning HHI. That was there any? And again, if I could ask, was there any like I don't know traditions or anything like that to bring somebody on? Was there like
No. I mean, it was just like the dope. Like we got the the dopest dudes, and we were lucky to see Chad perform and dance with us. So it was already like, dude, if you get it, like, let's go. we didn't audition.
That was like
people.
that was
Yeah.
your audition for the crew, basically.
Yeah.
We were still
Rock-
kind of not really known. Like we had like a few performances, won like a couple competitions, performed at like World of Dance. Before that, our first competition was Ven Awards. I don't know if
That's
you guys
true.
remember Ven Awards.
Yes,
I was there.
I was just
Yeah.
about to ask about
you
that.
were
That was-
there? That was my first time
Yeah,
watching you.
that's the
Wait,
first time
wasn't
I've
it just
seen you
you
guys.
three there?
It was
Yeah,
3.
that was-
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
that
when
was
I
our
first
that.
watched you perform live. And you
Yeah.
guys did the Tetris routine, right?
We did, yeah.
This is
There
in
it is.
Pasadena.
Did you do
yeah,
this
yes.
thing with the thumbs too?
That was me. Yeah.
There it is.
I think I freestyled twice because I got so hyped. But that was a terrible decision.
You did.
You just
You
took-
did.
you just took an extra one 'cause
Wait,
you're
You
hyped?
went first, right? And then you
Yeah.
also went last. 'cause you're
Yeah,
hyped.
because I was hyped and I took because there's still a song left, and I was eager. I didn't know what this was. I didn't know what the dance community was. Like this was our very first performance. We just made Poreotics.
Yeah.
So and we like had these routines down. And I like we learned them in like living rooms and backyards. Can's backyard, Dumbo's like living room, and you know we put this whole set together because back then Can was a music producer, so he would like put our mixes together and whatnot. And that was like way back, like 07 ish.
Yeah, I remember
That's
that.
15 years ago, man.
That was
Yeah.
when Poreotics was spelled differently too.
Yeah. We had to
Yeah.
change it because of ABDC.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the original spelling with a CS.
Yeah.
And then we changed it to an X for
But we digress. Like we
ABDC.
We're gonna be digressing the whole time.
Slap this mic.
It's
Where
okay.
were
Digressions.
HHI?
So like adding Chad, and obviously like I'm curious about this because you know crew culture and all that stuff is always like such a fun and unique experience, right? Like when talking about adding Chad, was there like a meeting that happened or anything like that between like you and Dumbo and Can, and Jet was he was gone
in
because he was
Korea.
being subbed or Law, right? So
Yeah.
it was basically you four that were there, and then Chad, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Like, how did that process come down to be like, yo, we gotta put Chad on the squad?
I think it was HHI. Like, I mean, we had spent time with them on Pack Modern. I mean, like, of course, Jet wasn't on Pack, so he didn't have he didn't know Chad that way, but back then. But I think it was just kind of a no-brainer because we'd already been teaching, like, Dumbo's been teaching his choreography to Pack Modern for like maybe a year or so,
Yeah.
like, and so it wasn't that much of like, let's audition some Pack Modern members. It was more so like, oh crap, like Jet can't do HHI, like we need to get another guy. And it was just like, who's gonna fit the best? All right, let's ask Chad. And then like Chad made it on. And it just so happens, like that whole story with HHI too, that Chad just kind of showed up in a time where we start, like, in my eyes, it just felt like we just started getting lucky. Like just winning a lot of stuff, performing at a lot of crazy places. And Chad was always there. And it was like through the best of times. It was always that way.
Chad was the good luck charm.
He was, yeah. I still believe that.
That was my
Good luck,
that was my
Chad.
nickname. They started calling me Chad the Good Luck Charmayate.
Fact check that one on Wikipedia.
Okay.
We got fact
Oh, okay,
check
they
that.
just call me Lucky Charm. I added it with my names because it
Nice.
sounds cooler.
But yeah, we didn't have any like formal meeting. At least like I don't remember because to be honest, like that time for me, like I barely remember so much. But yeah, it was just like kind of like Chad wasn't there at one time, and then Chad was there, and then a lot of great things started happening. It was awesome.
Great job. Good luck.
Hey,
Good luck, Chad. So
Happens in
so ABDC was probably the time where the world was now aware that Poreotics exists.
Yeah.
Well, I
Actually,
mean, you
yeah.
guys did HHI and things like that, but I'm talking like on
Yeah.
like mainstream media and things like that.
pretty much. It's funny because like the founders of Hip Hop International are the creators of America's Best Dance Crew, right? So actually, they use HHI as kind of like a little breeding ground to like scout the world who to bring onto ABDC. And then so, if I remember correctly, Poreotics auditioned for ABDC the year before.
Season 4.
Yeah, and didn't make it. And then we did HHI, and then we won.
We came back.
Or added me, did HHI, then we won.
Wait,
and then they
But
put
you
me
guys,
on, they put us on.
but you won season
5.
5.
Yeah,
So you auditioned season 4.
Didn't make
they
it.
didn't make it.
But in 08 is when the first ABDC came out. But you said you won HI in 2009. So but that was only a year later, and
They were
already
cranking
talking-
out seasons of ABDC.
They do like
though.
2 seasons in a year.
Because I remember.
But
even,
why would they reject you in season 4 if you had already like won by that time?
I feel like they already. Well, I mean, my assumption is that they kind of already had their roster filled previously from after season 3 of knowing kind of who wanted to go through.
Wait, who won season 4?
We Are Heroes.
I'm just surprised is all, especially if like the creators of HHI, it's like if you guys win USA #1,
Yeah.
I'm like, why would you not? But anyways, I get it. I'm sure that there are random politics
what?
or random
Yeah.
things that we didn't understand. You
I
know?
mean, we're just
Yeah.
going along for the ride. They're like, we don't want you right now, but come back
oh,
next
I
season."
remember why. Even though nobody else would probably say this, they didn't want another all-guy crew to win.
Oh, probably.
Because they had already had
That's-
Jabberwockies, they
yeah.
had Super Crew, then they had Quest.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you got 3 all
true.
male groups,
Yeah.
and it's like, why would you know?
Yeah.
So they probably knew you would probably win that season. But again, this is my speculation.
Good
good.
speculation.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm not
Good.
used to that.
I mean,
Why- if you know what I'm saying, if I'm a producer of the show,
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm putting on the best talent. If this
Yeah.
group just won first place at USA, like, why would you not be on the show? But
Yeah.
I get it.
TV
Whatever.
politics.
And
man.
actually, even ABDC season 5 was supposed to be the last season for America's Best Dance Crew, but then and even when all the other teams went on ABDC, by that time we already made a name for ourselves, and then our friends were the other team, so you're probably even know them too, but Hype 5-0 and stuff like that, because they're
Oh yeah.
It's funny because after they all came on the show, they're just like, all right, so who's gonna get second place? Because they already predicted that Poreotics is gonna go to the finals and stuff like that, and we're like, what? No.
I remember. I was working for Collusive at the time.
That's
Uh-oh.
right.
Right?
Oh no. Collusive on the
And
show.
I had, here's the funny thing, I had just started working, so I wasn't super in there. I think it was our boy Kyle who was doing stuff. But Newcon was the designer for Collusive
Yeah.
at the time. So his younger brother,
Josh,
Josh,
yeah.
was running Hype 5.0.
Yeah.
So we were constantly seeding, Collusive gear to them. But I think a box of Collusive accidentally went to the Poreotics camp. And that's how all y'all started repping it too. But I distinctly remember it being an accident. I have no idea how you guys
that's
took
a
it.
great accident because we wore it for day and night.
Yo, but that's
We
that's
did.
one of the best accidents then. Straight up.
That's very true.
Like you guys repped it, you guys killed it, you guys won, and that's what's up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that was a crazy season. Yeah.
Yeah, and then because that was supposed to be the last season, that's why at the end of that season they brought all the past champions back, and then
No. There was still season 6 and 7
yeah.
though.
I know, but like I said, season
Oh,
5 was
but they
supposed
did
to
multiple like champions come
Yeah.
back for like different
season
seasons.
season 5 was supposed to be the last season.
Yeah.
So that's why they brought all the champions back to do the champions for charity thing.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
You mean as in
yeah.
terms of not competing against each other, but bringing the
Yeah.
champions back in order to
Yeah,
perform
yeah,
that
yeah.
last. I remember
that's,
that. Yeah.
That's when Jabba did.
Devastating stereo.
Yeah.
Oh no. Final
the
countdown.
giant. The giant. Yeah.
Final countdown.
Massive.
Yeah.
And we were just like, damn, they brought the whole.
What did we do? Did we do?
We did the chipmunks.
Oh my god.
Because we figured. All right, context.
Just the oh my god.
Context.
I
We
just
were
forgot about
we were
that
on
one.
the show for like 3 months. We used all of our dope good stuff, and then like it was
It's a long time.
it was a charity for kids. So we're like, okay, well we have a set where we did Alvin and the Chipmunks, and that's like a very kiddie like feel, right? So we did Alvin and the Chipmunks, but it was fun for the kids.
But that was your guys'
That was the
like
intention.
thing though, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like
Yeah, it was-
only
yeah.
y'all would come out and could come out to like Taylor Swift. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
do your thing. And you would always have ridiculously high level technique and musicality mixed with this like just like right on this teetering line of like comfortable with your sexuality. And that's at the end of the day, that hit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I give props to that,
That's right,
for
'cause
what
that's
it
what we
was
did.
during that time.
I mean, we did Umbrella where we were wearing freaking crop tops with like half painted silver arms. Like,
Oh god.
oh, that was a good season.
Where-
Good times.
Okay, I actually now I'm glad we're having this conversation. Where did that come from? So you guys are known for the shades,
yeah.
Mhm.
and then known for the choice of outfits and the thematics. Was just because like you guys?
I think it was just more like an unapologetic, like we'll do whatever we want to do, and if the grain doesn't make sense for most people, that's a place that they were comfortable to play. Is all.
Yeah.
I don't think it was specifically like let's cross dress or anything. Like
Right,
Alvin
right.
the Chipmunks, like that's more just like. It's just it's just so
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
just different, and
Yeah.
that's at the end of the day what a lot of people are looking for. I'm backing y'all up so
Well,
hard right now.
I
Like,
appreciate that, yeah.
I mean, that's true though, because during that time frame, that's when like ISO choreography was like just gaining traction.
Mhm.
So it's like when you see like isolated choreography, you're like, yo, that's crazy, right? And then like you start to see them adding like weird.
I would
concept.
disagree with that though.
Okay, I get it. You had Kaba and Java. and
Yeah,
all
I
that
wouldn't say
stuff
it was
before.
gaining traction.
But I mean,
But
like,
I'll
in
say
the
y'all had a
collegiate scene,
really,
too.
really original twist that obviously
Yeah.
was respected enough to like
Yeah.
gain a high level notoriety. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And win the damn show. I never won the show. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm saying
But
it's
you know,
for
I
real.
think
Like
there's something about what you were talking about with the Kabas or the Jabberwockies or whatever. There was a very type of way that
Yeah.
it was portrayed, and I think you guys adding a comedic element to it was what made that a
True.
Poreotics way of
Yeah.
doing things.
I mean, we definitely did things that we'd probably get in trouble for now. Like jump rope with crutches and stuff like
I
that.
mean, even before that, we did a lot of.
that doesn't
silly stuff.
sound as bad as
Well, I mean, as bad as holding the pictures and me and Lawrence kissing.
oh, like kissing. Yeah.
yeah.
We were like, we had the photos of judges and we had.
Look,
We've done a lot of crazy things.
We've all been young.
Yeah,
But
we-
I think that's what made it fun is that we were, like you said, we were pushing boundaries on a TV show where people were trying to be safe at that time.
I mean, look how we started like the first show. Like Can said we have the small eye, and then we
an
performed.
Asian accent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that just kind of says a lot about
Yeah.
just how you're saying the fearlessness of it all. Like, I mean, at that time it was just kind of like just going for things and just trying to be funny and be entertaining is more of the word. Because I think even with like the type of choreography that we were doing, it did like come from more of like a underground popping kind of stuff. So a lot of our like performances are like pieces would be like hitting pieces or just strictly tutting pieces and stuff. And,
And we got a lot of props from that too, from the underground scene. They're just like, oh, yo,
we
thanks for
had
putting that
pros
shit on
and
the map.
cons, you know. We
We're like,
had
oh,
our
sick, thanks.
fair share of.
I think that's something that I recognize because everybody in the squad was legit in their craft, and then you were able to kind of just be you in terms of adding your personality to it, because no one could look at your stuff and be like, yo, this is not it. Because you're like, nah, like we got receipts, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's like, well, we get to also just have fun and perform. And I think that's, to me, was what made Poreotics like a standout crew to me. Because I'm like, every single one of these cats are legit. But they don't give
And
a
you know, like
freak.
we're all
Minus me.
a lot of time.
Minus me.
Minus me.
A lot of time has passed, and we're all like grown and mature now, so we can say the things we say now. But my younger self was, you know, let's get real. Like, I was competitive. I would look at you guys' stuff, so whack, but it would still whoop my ass sometimes. Right? I would still win, and that's part of the competitive nature. You know what I mean? Because I think one, like, we were all Asian. Two, we were all messing with ISO stuff. You know what I mean? So it was like you didn't have a lot of other people that would even be remotely in the same island of comparison. You know, the idea, or even like a half joke of us always going like Team ISO, like that we didn't even say those two words together back during that time. It was just more like, this is what we do. This is our style. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, to bring it back to that, just letting you know, your piece at like Prelude 2000.
I'm scared.
Oh, you about to be scared right now. Okay, so the first thing that sparked my interest in like isolation choreography was like Mike's song, because we went to the same high school.
Heyo.
And he was
Shout
a
out my
senior when I was a freshman, and they did
That'll
like,
do it.
Yep, and he was doing like, that was during his like David Elsewhere years,
Yep,
like that whole collaboration thing. So we saw that, and then we tried replicating that kind of stuff like during high school. And then my first year in college, before I made it onto Pack Modern, I went to like a Prelude 2008 or something, and then that's where CADC won. And then like their closer, or the piece right before closer, was like To No Scrubs, TLC or something. And then I was like, whoa, this is crazy. That's really cool. And go and behold, that piece is choreographed by this guy right here.
Wow.
Don't YouTube it. Don't YouTube it.
YouTube it, baby.
Wow. That's tight.
And then I didn't know it was like him till like later.
Why is this my first time hearing this?
Because, like you said, things
It's a
get...
podcast.
Yes, it's
Guys,
podcast.
This
Things
is
get
where we
Dang,
talk about
it's a-
this.
this
As
is
all
a
secrets
podcast.
come out in this
All
pod.
right, well,
baby.
you're about to get some secrets you ain't never heard.
Hey, all right, let's get more secrets, baby. Cheers.
Okay, cheers.
Cheers to that.
Is this a drinking pod?
So that's
That
a
was a
great
great
ad.
ad. It was a
segue.
great ad.
That was a great ad.
Yeah,
buy
great ad.
buy
You should
it.
totally
Whatever
buy
it is, pay
2
it.
of those.
Buy 2, 10% off.
Yes.
All right, so you guys obviously won ABDC, and that must have like changed your whole world. And again, not at all putting y'all on blast, but like actually giving you a different type of pedestal. I remember y'all mentioning half of you guys didn't even like necessarily either finish college or anything like that because the world just changed. And this is and Ben knows exactly like
We
the
became
craziness of
celebrities
that
overnight.
ride.
That's how I like to
Exactly.
think
Like
about it. It's
what
wild.
was that like, you know, for y'all at that time at that age?
Oh man, that was wild. I had a lot of preconceptions about like things like I'm gonna talk about the trauma first, and before I talk about
It starts with trauma.
trauma.
Oh damn!
Wow.
All right, let's
Get
go.
into that.
Oh well, I mean, I was like a chubby guy back then. You know,
You weren't chubby.
I had the biggest
was
waistline.
chubby.
You're a husky.
He was
And
chubby.
you know,
I was
and-
chubby.
And
Yeah,
there's a
you
lot of like Team Husky signs, and I do love all the fans that like came out, or if you were one of them, like thank you. But that gave me like another light of just like the reality of how like who I was becoming and whatnot. So
Did you just say Team Husky?
Team Husky,
There
that
were
was
signs that said Team Husky, and it said "We love you, Charles."
Yeah.
In the
Okay.
when we were on
yeah.
ABDC.
We need to
and
take
yeah.
a pause for that one. I'm not
kinda
laughing.
mean.
I'm not laughing. I want to process
Yeah,
because I was chubby too.
As was I.
But that is funny.
it's funny. It's hilarious.
It's funny now. You're so sexy now. I just want to say
Yeah.
that's funny now.
Thank you.
You skinty AF.
Oh,
bro.
I had to go through a lot to get to the point where I am now, but I mean that's like really the only trauma. Other than that, it was pure bliss. I went on my first plane ride right after the show to Dallas. I'd never been on a plane before.
Oh,
Wow, that's
dang.
cool.
Yeah. I like drank so much that I barely remember the gigs. Like, and I mean, it's coming out, but I mean, I do remember some like very significant ones, like Step Up and like the Bruno one where we just got back from like Russia and we're just.
Oh yeah, that was wild.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
you
was a
guys were
wild.
wearing
one.
the monkeys.
Monkey mask.
Where
Yeah,
we were the
the
Right, the
monkeys.
lazy song.
The
Lazy
lazy
song.
Song that
Yeah.
people love, which is
Love.
awesome. Yeah. You know, shout out to
You guys were in Bieber's Baby?
we were in Bieber's Baby.
No, Somebody to Love.
Oh, Somebody to Love.
Oh, Somebody to Love.
Usher was supposed to dance
yeah,
with
we were.
us.
Yeah, Usher was supposed to be our section, and then he came.
And then you guys were like wearing girls' clothes, and he was like, "Nah, I'm not
No,
doing
we
that."
were. If you look
Like,
at that
this is
piece,
not
we were
on
like
brand.
trying to go like popper, like we were like doing our stuff. We were like, oh yeah, Usher would love this stuff. And then we remember seeing him like doing our rehearsal at where is it? Is it Center Stage? No,
Center Stage,
Center
ish,
right?
something like
Yeah,
that.
something like
yeah.
that. And then we remember seeing him like at the door, and then he was like practicing and like doing like some of the stuff. We didn't even meet him yet. And then like, we were practicing our set, and then later that day we get a call like, oh yeah, we're gonna switch Usher with Bieber. So Bieber's gonna be doing the set with you guys and not Usher. And then when we watched it, yeah, Usher was pretty much just like doing his thing and not doing anything. And he had sirens with him, which were the girls with the fans. So like he's like not doing anything, and then
Was
the
it
girls
that
were
like
doing all the
Donna
work.
and like?
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Tiff.
yeah.
and
So
stuff
it's
like
Culture
that.
shock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they did the thing where it's like he played more of the artist role, and then he had like all like the cool visuals with like the girls, and they put Bieber with us because it was like more like cool choreography happening at the time. The look looked more like us because we
Youthful.
were like 20,
Yeah.
21 at the time,
Mhm.
wearing like black like
Yeah.
shiny jackets, and it
Yeah.
played to his role really well.
That's when we also first met Beat Freaks.
That's true.
And first time I saw Lee J.
Yeah, that's the first time we met Lee.
Oh, when he was managing Beat Freaks at the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
That was the first time I ever saw
Oh
Lee
my
J.
god,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Shout out Lee J.
Shout out
Love
Lee
you.
J, by the way, one of the squad members. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that dude. That is a wild. And how
Yeah.
old were you guys at the time?
Maybe like 21.
Yeah, because when we won the
We're the
eight-
same age, by the way.
Yeah. When we won eight, well, you're like a week older than me, but it's okay.
He just called you old. Dude.
Yeah.
I'm old.
When we won ABDC, we were 20
Yeah.
because we couldn't get into clubs yet.
Yeah.
And then,
Oh my god.
yeah, so we had to do like club performances, and we had like X's on our hands. That was hilarious. So,
I remember both y'all
crazy.
showing up to a club in full suits one time.
The World
yeah,
of
that
Dance.
was WAD New York.
Yeah.
Was that Wad New?
That was
Oh
great.
yeah.
Wasn't
okay.
that when we did
Those guys.
those guys?
Those guys? Yeah.
Yeah.
Too many anecdotes. Ben, how old were you when you were on ABDC?
I was 27.
27.
Yeah, I was an
Nice.
old guy.
But
I
you
wish I
are
was
you guys
27.
straight up though, like Jabba was like very like
Yeah, you were in
OGs to a
you were in
lot
the
of us
scene.
during that time, regardless. So,
Yeah.
so I think
You know, yeah, that was a crazy thing. Like most of us were like in our mid to late 20s already, and so like KB had a kid, and
Mhm.
Phil had a kid. Like it was a different story for us. So
that's why I'm like I can't even process like what it would be to turn into like an overnight celebrity at like
It was wild.
20.
It's
Yeah.
crazy,
It
man.
was.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Bruh.
It's crazy.
Bruh.
that was a
Let's
very
just say,
weighted,
like-
bruh.
Yeah, let's just say
crazy.
like you think it's like your freshman year in college into sophomore year, and then you're like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna live out my sophomore or my college life and go to like my college parties and do all this stuff. Next thing you know, you win a dance show, and then you're traveling overseas and meeting people overseas and performing at all these. Your college's experience is other colleges around the world.
Yeah,
That's
like
not your
Asian-
college.
Real Ivy
Association.
League,
Yeah.
not like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Ivy League Long Beach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we performed at like Duke and like North Carolina like the same weekend, and
Yeah.
people were like, "Oh, wait, you went to Duke?" I was like, "Yeah, I went to Duke
Yeah.
for
Stanford.
a weekend."
Couple
That's
Florida
crazy.
ones.
So-
Columbus, Ohio.
So I mean,
Yeah.
obviously,
Texas.
being that young
Mhm.
and having that much just exposure to the world, opportunity,
Yeah.
business opportunity, like
Yeah.
no
Oh, we
doubt
were
a lot
stupid.
of things maybe people even took advantage of y'all and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
let's dive
I
into
know.
some of the things that maybe because you were either less experienced at that time, like what are some of the things that y'all as a crew went through that was more of a challenge and stuff? Because we know a lot of the glorious successes. We already touched on like the fact that y'all went around the world at such an early age. You guys were just representing yourselves, Asians, your community. You were getting in like the biggest pop star music videos of the time, performing on some of the largest stages. Right, I was even like a accessory act to like the Tick Tick tour. In Australia, like y'all was
Australia.
killing it. Outside of that one time you guys got kicked out of doing Tron at Disney because all the girls got drunk and stuff. But that's a different anecdote. But like,
I told you, this pod can go for hours.
I know. Let's talk about some of the other challenges that maybe you guys faced because of how quickly and how big everything got.
I mean,
yeah, 100%. I wish I knew way more back then, because like they said, becoming like a celebrity overnight. Literally, I was supposed to go to school for like occupational therapy, like a normal Filipino
Shout out.
dude. Yeah, like in like the nursing kind of stuff, right? But then it's like all of a sudden you get thrown into this business kind of aspect where you're all of a sudden you're just like talking about LLCs, S corps, C corps, payrolls, and like you have to make all of these marketing budgets and stuff, and you're just like, wait, what the heck is this? I am like a 20-year-old dude. We are not taught this stuff in like high school and stuff like that. And so like,
And granted, just for anybody who's like 20 out there who might maybe started a business when they were 18, it's like maybe that's normal, but like imagine trying to like also be good enough to win a national dance TV competition and then trying that. That's a totally different conversation. You know what I mean? Like you've already put your focus, your energy, your passion, and so much effort into honing a different type of craft that is oftentimes considered a completely different element in mindset.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like just credit to that.
I mean, there are definitely pros and cons. I think if you look at it in like the business aspect, we definitely ran into a lot of different problems of disagreements within the crew, and like where certain areas of business were supposed to be taken and whatnot, and how they ended up. Definitely like there's been several occasions where the business side has kind of ruined the party per se.
oh, do tell.
But
yeah, let's get into it. Like all the fucked up managers.
we've had a couple, and I mean, I'll say the first, like the worst one was when this is like pretty post ABDC, maybe like 3-4 years in. We've been doing gigs consistently for like 3-4 years.
When we thought we already knew what business was.
Yeah. And this is the same time.
This was our third manager.
Yeah. And Dumble was still leading, but Dumble was also still growing. Like he was also doing his own thing, and he would definitely be the one like kind of forming these new routines, and we'd have them every like yearly, and we'd have like a show that we're gonna premiere our new set. So that was definitely like the artistic side of it. But back to the story is that we had a manager come on because we prior to that had one manager retire, Danny Batamana, who took over kind of our main years of
Love you,
Poreotics.
Danny's great.
Yeah, he was a super nice guy. Gave us a place to rehearse. That's how you saw us a lot.
He's the founder
at
of Team Millennia, by the way.
Yeah. Shout out to Team as well. Like, big integral part into our kind of taking care of us post ABDC. But back to the story again. This specific manager, he was a replacement. We were talking about rebranding because people were moving on. I mean, even the crew kind of chemistry was a little rocky as well, because this is like our 4th year doing this. We're all trying to figure out our lives. We're like 23, 24. We all have like maybe, girlfriends, other things to worry about. So it just kind of spread. And, once it's like a relationship kind of starts to, dwindle with disagreements and with different passions, like, those things kind of happen. But back to the story. This guy, we were doing our like gigs. One specific gig we performed, and we asked him when we were gonna get paid because he was in charge of that. He was wrangling us that day.
And I was the co.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Co what?
Like I was writing checks by that time, because like I said, we started doing more of like the business stuff, and then I was more on like that end of like kind of taking care of the money, until like one time during one gig, I was like writing checks for everybody, and a couple of the checks started bouncing.
Yep.
And then I was just like, "Wait, what the fuck? Why did this shit bounce? I know we got a good amount in our bank account, right?"
Yeah.
And then we show up to this gig that same night, and I come up to our manager, and I'm like, "Hey, do you know anything about this? Why is there stuff not pulling up? And I can't pull anything up on like my app or anything about the stuff happening." And he just got like hella like, really like quiet for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
Right. And then we're just like, okay, well, that's weird. And then right before we're going to perform, this fool comes up to us and he's like, "Hey, I just got to tell you guys now, I lost all of our money. I used all of it."
Before you perform?
That's what I was saying.
On a gig.
Well, break a leg, you guys.
Yeah.
Kill it out there.
Yeah, he pretty much went to Vegas and gambled all of our savings away
No
from what we've been
way.
saving for the past
3-4 years.
Yeah, 3 or 4
Can I
years.
ask how much roughly it might have been at that time?
I would say at that time you could say, because we still had checks that were coming in that didn't come in, right?
Yeah.
So I would say it was between like 50 to 80K.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Dang,
And
50 to 80K in Vegas. You better get something.
yeah.
Well,
So-
we got nothing.
no, we got nothing. We lost it
We got
all.
nothing.
Hope.
Yeah.
So
You got something.
yeah, and then I would say that's pretty much when
They started to go
the
sour.
rift started to go south, right?
Mm.
Because it's like
Yeah.
we've ever since ABDC we were saving up some, like we would
Yeah.
always take money out of all of these gigs that we're doing, put it into our bank account. And at that time, I was searching for a dance studio for ourselves. I was looking for a home base for ourselves, right? Because we were at that time we were rehearsing at Quest Learning Center.
Shout
right?
out Quest.
Shout out Quest, love you
Shout out
guys.
Quest.
But then we were like, yo, we should try to get a spot of our own, right?
Yeah.
And even if it's a dance studio or even just like it's just a place to call our own home, at least we can go to our own home base.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So I even had like my friend who was like in real estate and like go with me to go check out these places. And like I'd go and look at these places. I'm like, all right, cool, this is cool, this is cool. Next thing I know, it's just like, we have no more money. It's like, what the hell?
Did you guys have a goal in terms of like where you wanted to take the next step of Quest? You just said Quest. the next step of Poreotics in terms of like what's the next thing that we're gonna do? Is it open up a studio? Is
Yeah.
it have a show? Was it
Yeah.
like a goal in mind?
It was definitely rebranding. You know, we were in a place where at that time also Dumbo had went to Vietnam.
Oh yeah,
And
Dumbo was a judge for a dance show in Vietnam.
So we were
Yeah.
working collectively on sets. There was no like true person. You know, we tried to work together as much as we could. But yeah, I forgot what the question was.
Nice.
Like, was there a goal?
Yeah, like
Oh, yeah.
yeah. What's the
Go.
next evolution of
It was
Poreotics?
rebranding.
Where are we taking this thing?
Yeah,
mean-
it was
I
rebranding.
mean-
It was very like oh yeah, go for it.
I mean, at that time, there was a lot of things happening. Like there was still like we created Miniotics.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted to start giving back to like the younger generation, kind of like our style, because we felt like, yo, if we're the only ones that do this, then it's like we'll just be like the Backstreet Boys or In Sync, where it's like you're a band and then that's it. You know, you don't have any kind of legacy to happen, right? So then we created Miniotics and we started teaching like our choreography to a set of kids. Actually, there was like we had auditions and stuff, and it went on for a good amount of years. Love all of our kids.
Yeah,
we
we
had
made a lot
multiple
of-
generations. Yeah.
And they have always been amazing.
Yeah,
Yes.
100%.
Miniotics
Yes.
has always been amazing.
100%. And back then it was like, you know, towards post this situation, which I truly think was like our it was the rift that was bound to happen, you know, since, you know, all the years of us even performing together, especially not knowing anything in terms of like business and you know, like getting used to being famous, going back to that question too.
Yeah.
Like really thinking, are you famous? And then start to like really question things. And then like, you know, life just kind of happens to you so fast while you're still eating all this like dinner that they bought for you. And you're just like, oh, damn, this is still a crazy life to live.
Yeah. We were traveling to like a different state or country like every weekend,
Yeah.
pretty much, where I got to the point where I was like, oh, I'm so glad we're home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Sometimes when you get back. But
So so what happens after, you know, a third manager goes and loses all your money? Like what do you do after that?
damn, that's when we were just like, yeah, fuck, what do we do?
And what year was this? Because I'm somewhere in the story
Yes.
and I'm trying to like remember what years it was and where in the chronology.
It's, I want to say it's
You were, yeah,
Because
you're-
it was
you're-
still during
you're like,
Quest.
you were like right there. You were in
Because
that.
I remember hearing all these stories and like
we were
both-
dancing.
yeah, both being a part of it and being removed
Yeah.
in a weird way.
I think that's the whole when it happened, because when Lost told you,
Was it after that? Was it after the manager like kind of like screwed you all over that?
no, I
started...
think I think that's pretty much like when it happened. 'Cause
so
then that's
so
why-
you're the
yeah,
good luck and
that's
I'm
when
the
that's
bad
when it
luck.
happened. Oh no! So context, Anthony was performing with Poreotics for a while, and then
I grew a bond with Anthony.
yeah, if you would like to tell your story with
I grew
we
a
gotta,
bond
we gotta
with
go
him.
back though. We gotta go back
Yeah.
and there's
'Cause
context
it goes
to
back
this.
to this. It goes back to that.
The
Yeah.
bond.
Even before that, there's context to this. I'm gonna ask just like a very blunt and like very forward question.
Go
So like
for it.
straight up, how did like Dumbo feel about us?
About who?
Who's us?
Whether it be, like me and Mike and Tony, for example.
Oh.
Uh,
Well, I mean, I don't know. You tell me. Didn't
Because we would always hear murmurs
Yeah.
of random things, and I don't give a fuck now. I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, we're all old and stuff, and I'd shout out everybody. Like, shout out, Dumbo's always sick at
Yeah.
what he
I
does.
still
you know what I'm saying?
respect
Yeah.
Dumble.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah.
But we would hear murmurs that, like, for whatever reason, he just like wasn't fond of us. I don't
Yeah.
know if it's because we were doing like ISO stuff or whatever.
Actually, I know this answer now that I remember.
I don't know
Yeah.
Do tell.
what you're gonna say.
Yeah. So I remember talking to him actually. Love Dumbo because honestly, Dumbo is a genius during like whenever like the reason why we followed him is because like whatever he puts on stage, it was always like gold, and that's like a reason like we always followed Dumbo. He
But
was
it
was
was
ahead of his time.
Also,
Yeah.
it was collective knowledge.
Yes.
Like,
Well, yeah.
in terms of like everything.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But then got more collective later. But
Go on.
there's again. No, that's why I said it got even more collective later because then like okay, anyways.
It was so collective in the beginning.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But I remember because you guys were you guys were so ingrained in like the battle scene, or at least like battling at like the spotlights or at like the
That's Dumbo for sure.
yeah, exactly, right? So you know when you just like B-boys, when you grow up in like the battle scene, like you look at other people a certain way if like you're battling against them and stuff like that. So I remember specifically saying that it's like when you guys would do like isolation, it wasn't really like popping and stuff like that. Right? Yeah.
Okay.
I remember saying that. And then I was like, and at that time I was still like a Padawan. I was like young, right? So I was trying to soak in
All of us were
information.
young. All of us.
Yeah, but me specifically, because I was only dancing for like a year by that time. And I was like, oh, please do tell. Like, what is this stuff? And then it was like, there was a difference between like the popping in like the underground scene and then like the popping that's put on stage. You know what I mean? Where it's like the popping that's put on stage, at that time, a lot of people were saying it was very like watered down and it wasn't really popping and stuff like that, which is also part of Charles is looking at me a certain way. But
No.
Charlie, you look really uncomfortable right now.
No, I don't. It's all just coming back.
yeah, right?
Got it.
But I just remember at that time, it's like, yeah, there was just a rift of like popping and
Perspective.
not popping.
Yeah.
Perspectively.
I think-
Subjectively.
I get it.
of
Because
what's popping.
real popping is to Taylor Swift.
Exactly. Charles. Charles.
No. Anyway, the
Yeah.
point, the reason why I bring it up is because we would hear these things, so we would naturally obviously build misconceived perceptions of things. So even when, like, for example, and this has always been huge in even me and Charles' relationship, is because I was almost for whatever reason, or the rumors or whatever, it was almost like I was like bred to like also be like, okay, well, fine, forget these fools then, you know what I mean? Because I would hear it. I'm not naturally competitive like that in terms of like not liking something, but if somebody like, you know, talks shit on me or whatever, then obviously it's like, all right, we're gonna roast everything about you and your family and your children for 3 generations, right? But so naturally I would look at people like Charles and be like, all right, well, he's associated, so by association it was always like whatever.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
And
That
then
makes
we
sense.
go, but then we go on the Tick Tick tour in Australia,
Yeah.
which is 2011 or something
Tick
like
Tick
that.
Tour 2. Yeah.
Tick Tick Tour 2, yes.
Yeah.
Right? I was there with Yo Mama Crew. Mike couldn't make it, so I was there with Victor and Lawrence Cow, and we did our like ridiculous ass Tiger show. And anyways, this giant, huge event that we all like meet each other, and suddenly I'm like, wait, what? These guys are cool as fuck.
Yeah.
And
I remember that. Yeah.
by these guys, I really mean like you two who are still sitting here. Shout out Law, shout out Jet, even Cam. Anyways, so like I'd be like, wait, I was wrong in what I knew, and I was like, these really, really dope guys, right? So coming back from Tick Tick, me and Charles, we just fucking clicked. Like I'm talking like one of my favorite, and I'm pretty sure Charles says the same things. Literally out of like the fucking, what is it, like 15 plus years now that I've been like for real dancing, still one of my most favorite periods of like true, like really getting into dance and falling in love with it was the days that me and Charles would wake up and we would text each other, be like, what time are you going to Quest Learning Center?
Yeah.
Every single day we show up, we eat at the Quest Cafe, we session with each other,
$5 lunch special.
$5
Shout out Andy at the
special,
Quest Cafe.
and then we would full on like choreograph routines, do random stuff, and we would always create. And the thing is, me personally at that time, it's not like I had hella jobs or anything, so it was genuine, just doing it because we liked it. Charles for sure had hella gigs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was killing it with Poreotics and stuff like that. And for me, I was just like, yo, this is super sick. Like, we get to just workshop, create, do stupid things like Gangnam Style in our robes and shower caps, whatever it was. Like we just had like the best time connecting.
Yeah.
So naturally that led to eventually being like, yo, me and Charles have like 8 pieces under our belt. And Poreotics needed to do some shows, but at that time, I think that was also when Dumbo had left, maybe to Vietnam.
Yes.
So there was like a...
And that's why we picked you up, because you were substituting.
Yeah, totally.
for
And
Dumbo.
we had choreo that was just ready to go, that was
Yeah.
new, and that like, you know, a couple people already knew. Maybe we
We-
put you guys...
We put Calvin Harris on stage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we put a lot of our...
wow.
Didn't we put Bonfire? I mean,
Oh,
we
we
had a
did.
number of
Oh,
routines,
shit.
collabs.
Mhm.
I am totally a choreographer for
Totally.
Poreotics.
He is.
At one period.
I actually remember him telling me during rehearsals one time, like, yeah, let's do this piece, let's do these two. And then Anthony's like, oh, you're totally getting your money's worth, aren't you? For this.
Because we hadn't defined the relationship, you know what I'm saying?
That's
Like
true.
I feel like me and Charles were always, and
Yeah.
Charles was being just like a good friend about
Yeah.
it. He would like be honest with me, be open. He
Yeah.
just
I
be
was
like,
learning. I was learning from
Yeah.
Ant. Anthony definitely. I was during my time where I was choreographing a little more, and I was
Yeah.
still trying to figure it out. And I would definitely just use those opportunities. I would just use you.
I
to
was
learn.
learning too.
Yeah.
I was
Yes,
using
they did.
you to.
They used
I was
each
just
other a
using
lot.
you to
Here,
learn.
folks.
Yeah, learn your watered down style, which I
Oh!
really love. And going back to that, like I'm gonna be honest, like I remember the days where he would talk about that, and I would agree. I'd be like agreeing. And then later down the line, when I started meeting like more Kaba people, there's a story with Deo, specifically Deo, where he would
Shout
like
Deo.
him and DJ and like other Kaba heads like hated on Poreotics, and we're at a party, and we're we're a little drunk, and like and then we all sat down in a circle, and I was like,
And
why do
battled.
you guys hate me? And they're like, we hate you because like you're associated, like you always talk shit, and like I'm like, no, I don't talk shit. Like I don't do that. And not to say that that other people did, but I think it's the idea, and I think this is a good lesson for a lot of people that associate other people with people that they don't like, and just automatically assume that they're not cool or I wouldn't get along with them. But like that kind of thought process is a kind of young kind of mind process, because not everyone's that way, and I felt that firsthand by a lot of people. Just like this type of disassociation already, where I'm like, no, like I'm a fan of your work. Like I enjoy watching you guys dance just as much as I love performing, but I just can't see why we're not seeing eye to eye. And that when I was younger back then, I'm like so confused, that even now that we talk about those times when I was working with Ant, like like going back to that point, like that to go to the moment where I said that I didn't like that style, to then go to the point where I'm like consistently hitting up Ant every day to be like, teach me, because you have something that I want to learn, and I think my journey for me was just like, okay, there's more for me here. I can learn past, because I feel like my whole Poreotics journey, I was always just kind of, trying to put choreo here and there, giving my ideas of humor out there as well. Not to say all my funny ideas were Poreotics did.
Taylor Swift, though.
But I had a lot of dope ideas, and I never saw that myself as like someone that could be like a leader.
But look up Charles at Cal State Long Beach.
You mean UC Long Beach?
At UC Long Beach, yeah.
Long Beach.
We
yeah.
didn't even go there.
So
Yeah.
so just to continue on with that, right?
Yeah.
So there was this period of time where I was like constantly performing. I remember, I think the first one was like level 3 or something like that.
Oh
damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely did level 3 because we made you do a horse stance for doing a tutting routine, and we had to get really low because you're too tall.
This is being too tall has been the bane of my dance existence.
That's
and
what I was
not,
gonna ask. Like, so what was it that he just wasn't officially down? Like, what,
So
was it the height thing? Was there a height requirement?
Yeah, Anthony's like, yeah, please do tell.
I would love to get into this because I definitely remember me and Charles go to one of my first international trips where I get booked like for my own shit. Like this is literally like my first one. I bring Charles to assist because like I wasn't traveling the world internationally. Going by myself was like a very scary thing, you know what I mean, at my age too. And I was like, I want to bring Charles on, blah blah blah. So I took less money to like we did like 11 performances.
God damn.
But I took like
Wait,
less money in order to fly another guy out.
Kinjaz?
Yeah, they called us Kinjaz.
And all like most of those pieces were our collabos.
They're like our collabos, and we go out there, and I remember, we're bunked up in this like little ass room in Italy and stuff, and then there was this meeting that has to happen amongst all y'all. It was like you two, Law, Ken, and
Jet.
Jenny was in it too.
Yeah, she was managing us at that
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
Wow.
Jenny Baez.
I see you, Jenny. I see you.
Boss
Co-owner.
lady.
And then this whole conversation, I remember I awkwardly stepping out of the room just so this conversation. I was trying my best not to pay attention or whatever.
It's funny because our meeting was at Quest Cafe.
And literally there's this meeting happening about whether or not I could get down with the squad. Like I had performed a few times, but it was just like, would I be crew?
Yeah.
And I wasn't cocky enough at that time to think I was a shoo-in. I was genuinely like honestly honored at the conversation. I was like, oh my God, like they're even considering like the fact that I might even be on like an ABDC past champion crew. You know what I mean? Where already I was given a platform to like perform choreography. I was like, oh my God, like I could do this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then I come back into this room and again, not super shocked because I didn't know where it was going to go anyway. So I didn't expect greatness or anything. And basically Charles was like, he's like, yeah, so we like decided that we like are really in a time where we got to work on ourselves. Oh, that jogs my mind. AKA
That
the
goes-
management had just
Yeah.
fucked y'all over.
Yeah.
So there was
Rewinding back to
Yeah,
that.
exactly. So it
Yeah.
did happen chronologically like that because
Yeah.
you guys had just undergone such a complex thing. So I totally respected the decision, and it was one of those like. I think I'm not gonna put any names on blast.
I didn't put any decisions down. I
But
was in the hotel with
somebody had
Anthony, like,
mentioned.
I got him down. You got my vote.
Yeah, I know I had Charlie's
I
vote.
was
You had
also
my
hungover.
vote.
I was hungover.
Well-
oh shit!
What do you? I told.
I
Anthony
know
this all
that.
the
I
time.
know this. Yeah.
That's
Oh.
very great to know on this podcast.
Yeah, I know that. I know. I know.
And you
I
also
mean-
hear it on JK News.
That's
just
why we
like-
do this.
wow.
Just kidding.
But people had mentioned it's like that. They needed to work on themselves.
Yeah.
Before they could bring somebody else in. I totally still think it was the biggest mistake they ever did.
That's not what
But
I
it's
thought
like,
you were
we,
gonna
but,
say.
yeah, it's like we
Because the
take
fire-
somebody on,
Yeah.
but
Because the fire I got from that was I was like, all right, let me put everything into Kinjaz.
Oh.
And then literally right after that, I put everything into Kinjaz.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So like that's why I'm like, and you know me
Yep.
too. It's like if I would have for real like randomly joined Poreotics, I'm not saying like greatness. I'm just saying like I would have put my energy there. Is all.
Sure,
That's
of
all.
course.
You know what I'm saying? But like fate, lo and behold, said that their manager had just fucked them over hardcore. They were
Yeah.
going through so many complex things as a group that like they had never probably experienced before. And like even if we were to go through that now, that would still be so complicated. So it, for whatever reason, it didn't work out. You know?
I actually even remember having like a random dinner with Ben one time after like a random show, asking about like managers
I
because
remember that dinner.
yeah, because this was like right after this happened, and I was like, yo, I was just looking everywhere. I was like, what do we do? I don't know what to do. Help me.
Those are some interesting times because I've experienced
That's
my own
wild.
thing.
Yeah.
I've experienced my own thing, and
Yeah.
I think that the point is like we didn't grow up going to school for business. We didn't
Exactly.
know how to do this thing. This is classic.
Yep.
A band,
Yeah.
we're a band that made it, and then we try to figure out how to keep this thing going.
Yeah.
I don't know
and
anything else.
we go with what sounds good at the time. We go with what's available to us, and then we deal with the inner workings of the team too, which is normally a bunch of young guys that there are egos, there are inexperience or lack of experience and things like that, where all that stuff just kind of like gets jumbled into this crazy roller coaster ride that is just like on 1,000. So it's going.
And it's not like dance crew managers went to school to manage
Nope.
dance crews. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like just as much as
true.
all of us were experiencing something that never happened before, like all these people are being put into these brand new situations and nobody's experienced. I don't give a shit who you are. Like no one's experienced their first time going into something. So everyone's learning the ropes. Everybody's
Yeah.
we were part of a generation where it was happening for the first time, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like with Jabberwockies like winning ABDC season 1. Damn this microphone.
And I mean,
I'm trying to fucking go off on some good words right now. It's fucking microphone.
and I mean that also wasn't perfect, right? So
Yeah, no, I mean,
right?
like I
Just
said,
saying, so-
it's just
I think actually that's why I went to you.
it's growing pains.
Wow.
And
Yeah, that's why I went to Ben.
yeah, I know. I remember
Yeah.
this. I remember this, and
There
like,
was this growing pains thing. Yeah.
and you figure it out, and you just iterate as you go, and then you hope to find the way, And so even when I like, I'm more so just like listening to, because I just see the history over here, and I'm just and of course I've
History is rich.
I've observed from
still built
kind
in
of the
mind,
outside, and then fast forward into we are now of the brotherhood of Kinjaz, right? And we all have found ourselves here and call this a home.
Yeah.
But it all has come with battle scars. You know what I'm saying? Like we've experienced our things, our ups and downs, and let's just keep it real, man. I mean, things aren't always meant to last forever. Not everything's meant to last forever.
It's true.
And as you kind of make mistakes and have self-realizations and things like that, things will kind of point you in different directions and things like that. So Poreotics started, when was this established?
December 2007.
Yeah.
Okay. And then here we are in 2022. And along that way, you talked about Miniotics, you talked about, and then there's even a different generation that was on World of Dance Season 2.
Yeah.
Can you talk about...
Well, before we get to that,
Okay.
cheers.
I need to re-up.
Hey.
Back in with the cheers as well.
Cheers.
Whatever that ad was, purchase it.
That was such a great ad.
Get 3 of those.
I love those ads.
Oh, I love
They're my
Kinesthetic
favorite.
or Kinja Bang Noodles.
I bought 7.
Okay, so like I said, before we move on with the journey,
Yeah.
it's very clear
There's some preemptive things
that-
that we gotta... Yeah.
that I didn't make Poreotics, because they're amazing. They're amazing, and I had work to do.
Hey,
on
you're
myself.
amazing.
Thank you, but I
And
had
you were
work to
also
do.
amazing back then too.
I needed that.
Hey.
Okay, but
give
but
them-
obviously, y'all end up joining Kinjaz
Mm-hmm.
Because you didn't make Poreotics.
because I didn't make.
But wait. Let's roll that back. I mean, it's not like that's the default. If someone doesn't make Poreotics, they just automatically become Kinjaz.
That is the
let's-
default. You
Let's
didn't know how
talk,
it works?
let's talk about
That's,
how did that process? Because I mean, there is a way that you and Mike were to consider potential members of Kinjaz.
And it's not a Trojan horse way. It's not, you bring people
didn't
in that they
invade.
do wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
So why was it that you were looking at? I don't even know the chronology of who actually
Charles was
came in.
first.
Charlie came in first. Okay.
To me, it was much more simple math. I'm not saying this in a way that doesn't make sense for Poreotics. Like I said, I already acknowledged that I respected that Poreotics was going through a very complicated time, and I also had things to work on at the time. This is a very different era, or like because of how fast life moved. Even if this was a year later, it felt like a different era. You know what I'm saying? So I already fully respect all that understanding. But for me, it was way more simple. I was like, okay, I dance with him all the time already. We're choreographing all the time already. Half of my content I'm uploading is with him. Like, what does it mean for? And I'm kicking with him every day. What's the difference between me being crew as Kinjaz here, and then it's like, yeah, I'm Kinjaz with this crew, and then the guy I danced with hella is like not my squad because I got rejected from Poreotics. That had nothing to do with it. So it was just like, hey, would you be down to join Kinjaz? Yeah, and literally that's how authentic the conversation was. Just me and him personally.
So Kinjaz was already going while you were rocking with them.
Yeah, but it wasn't like a business or a company or a crew that was meant to be our career. It was you know it was just like a group of homies that literally like was already doing their own individual or crew dance thing separate from the squad. And then when we would come together for community events, that was our excuse to do like the other dance stuff that we didn't have to do either as a director or as a professional. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have to take ourselves ultra serious, which is why 90% of our community shows have always been like half jokes, even though we always try to rip it because at the end of the day, like we're also like directors of teams. So we had to represent, but we also had to represent ourselves in a different side. That's the side that we normally felt compelled to not represent, especially being co-directors of like other dance teams, other crews and whatnot. But that's what I'm saying. The math was simple. I was dancing with this guy all the time. And then the same thing eventually happened with Chad and Law. You know what I mean? Like there was dancing. We shot Icy Fire before the Icy Fire video. We shot that video, just me, Law, and Chad.
That's true.
Ooh. We should drop that.
No, at the same spot that we shot the Icy Fire
really?
video.
Same
We
spot
did a
that the
whole
Icy-
shoot,
the
and
Kinjaz
it's
Icy
just a
Fire.
trio, but it just didn't feel and look the right way that I eventually
Yeah.
ended up imagining.
That
So
was
we went
your
back.
culture
Lost
shock
up.
days
Yeah.
when you guys started getting close because I was supposed to be on Culture Shock that year as well.
You was really good at flaking during those times.
But I was in a life makeover.
Right,
you
Chad?
know.
Life
Like, I can say that now
makeover,
because
yeah.
Charles is like consistent as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, honest
Yeah.
to a fault and
Yeah.
like does what's up and gets the work done and puts in work. He puts in. Charles now one of the most disciplined people that I know.
I agree. I
At that
agree.
time, he was not. He was
Yeah.
ultra flaky.
Yeah.
And that's just, you know what happened. He didn't join Coach
But
Talk.
he was flaky. But if you got him there, he's there.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But you just
but-
need to get him there.
But you and Law,
That was the hard part.
I love you.
you and Law would always get down with me, and we
Yeah.
would always
Yeah.
dance, whether
That
it be
was
like Icy
awesome.
Fire, whether it be like Adele, even. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
true.
Like,
Yeah.
so same thing. It was like we was. The math was simple. We were already sharing so much dance space together. I was
Yeah.
like, hey, Kinjaz is a place where, you know, it wasn't, and Kinjaz has always been like, it's not like when you're on Kinjaz, you can't be anywhere else. So we were already
Yeah.
that kind of like, hey, it's the accessory crew for other people.
Yeah.
It was like their extra outlet. It wasn't their priority. And we were fine with that. You know what I'm saying? So that being said, it was like, it made sense. Like,
Yeah.
we danced together.
Yeah.
I'm laughing. This is super random, but I remember editing the trio version of Icy Fire.
Ooh. Do you still have it?
Nick
I
did.
don't know, but I remember editing it.
Patreon version.
I started interning, and then I was working with John, and then we decided to reshoot it because we were like, this is really dope, but it's missing something.
Wow.
Yeah, I
More
remember.
people.
I remember being just underwhelmed. I remember wearing
mean,
the
your
blue
stuff-
blue bomber jacket and the brown leather. I was like,
Yeah.
and I looked at it and I was like, yeah, and I was like, this,
Yeah.
I don't know, this just isn't right. You know what I mean?
Well, because I mean, like with your stuff specifically, like it's so intricate that with the more people that's in it, the bigger the
yeah.
intricacy.
My moves
is.
are so small sometimes that more people need to make them noticeable.
Exactly. Not, you know.
Yeah. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
to answer your question
right.
in a long-winded
Yeah.
way. It's simple. At that time, I was like, I was rocking with these fools so hard.
Yeah.
It didn't make sense to not make him crew.
And at the same time, like that same manager, like, you know, like Dumbo had just, you know, went to go pursue his thing in Vietnam. Like the crew was asking like, so who's gonna be like the leader?
That's true.
And
we
they
were
were
going
like-
through like that, yeah.
Yeah. And they said, Charles, like you should try doing it. So I was like, all right, I'm down to do it. And I started to take this active kind of you know, leadership role. But at the same time, like I didn't know what to do, you know? I mean, I had all these ideas, all these plans and stuff, and things were just kind of breaking down. And like at that same time, you know, I was like also in a relationship that was also about to be one of my biggest kind of growth experiences.
That's a new way to say toxic.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't. The only villain in this story is the guy who gambled our 80K away. That's the only
Yeah.
villain. Everybody else in this story, I still like. Granted, we would say all these things, but I still love everyone. I still love Dumbo. I still love Can. You know, I still love my ex-girlfriend in the way that she was for me in that time. Anyone that enters my life was a gift. Anyone that exits my life
You are
was a gift.
so mature and awesome.
That
You're
is a
so hot right
freaking
now.
Charlie
Great.
Nguyen, everybody. Charlie Nguyen.
I
baby.
just
Dude, you're
love that,
so hot,
man.
dude.
I love that.
But like I'm saying like during that time like
You didn't say anything about Jet though. Did you love Jet?
Yeah.
I mean
I love Jet.
I
love Jet.
I love Jet.
Yeah.
I love Jet, but I also had to be put in a position where I would like, you know, expect certain things of a like, you know, that a leader would expect. And,
Yeah.
you know, that alone was already a big growth spurt for me. So
Yeah.
because of my flakiness, it wasn't just like, you know, like all of a sudden I'm like super flaky.
Yeah.
Like that time of my life, like, you know, I was creating a lot more, but at the same time I was going through this huge growth phase of finding who I was. And that's kind of was my theme from like 25 on to 30, I feel like, which is
On to 30.
post my Poreotics years,
Yeah.
you know?
Mm. So we know the basic logic from my personal perspective on like y'all joining the crew, but like what was your guys' perspective at that time joining Kinjaz?
Oh, it was a breath of fresh air for me. I mean, I was addicted. You know, you guys don't know this, but like during the time when you guys were on ABDC, and this is when I already like
Season 8?
season 8,
Yeah, that
yeah,
was your-
yeah,
yeah, that
and
was
we
good
would
season.
have rehearsals, and we would, you know, and I don't know if I told you guys ever this, but like I would always just have this kind of jealous kind of like fuck. I wish I was doing it. Like,
I mean,
either
we did turn down Nappy Tabs.
we did, and that
We
was
had a meeting with them.
yeah, and
So we got to rewind a little bit.
Hey,
So this is season,
we're grazing over a lot of things.
Season 8 of
Yeah.
ABDC.
And this is
was-
2012.
yeah, yes, it was, yeah.
No, this is 2015.
Oh, sorry. I said 2012 because I'm thinking about we were supposed to do season 7 2012 as Kinjaz.
Whoa.
Right.
Oh
And
my
I
god.
remember why that didn't
Yeah,
happen too.
that anecdote doesn't need to be
Yeah,
talked
we can
about
save
right
that
now.
one for another thing.
So welcome to the Kinjaz podcast where things get unveiled that we do
Yo,
not know.
Part 2.
So,
This is
so
two.
season 7 ABDC where Kinjaz was
Oh
supposed
my
to be a
God.
I
part.
remember
What happened?
that. I remember
Oh my
that.
god.
But I digress to
There's
my
a whole
story.
other
Like,
thing.
But I regressed to what is happening.
Honestly, I really do think we're gonna have to save that one for another one.
oh damn.
So going back,
But
there is a
2015.
Yeah,
2015 when
2015.
ABDC season 8 happened. Kinjaz is on.
yeah.
You guys were already very much Kinjaz by that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was a season of champions where they asked Poreotics to come
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you guys collectively said no.
We said no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I was under
know
the
why, but why?
impression of like, oh, okay, this might go on, and this is like my own perception of it at that time. Like I was like, okay, I'm gonna prepare myself just in case, And when we finally made the decision that we weren't gonna do it, I feel like that was a big part of me, like, well, damn, like I'm over here like seeing like other fellow inspirations of mine like going on this show for their first time, which is like super dope. But just to not have like that, I mean, I'm younger back then too, and like that was another big fire burner for me for Kinjaz, because it was like when I went to every episode. I was there for every episode.
you were.
And there'd be times when I would see like some people come up to me and they're like, that could have been you up there, and I'm like, you son of a bitch. you know how to get under my skin.
That's probably Napoleon.
But like,
Shout out Nappy Tabs, we love y'all.
Love you, Nappy Tabs.
yeah, that was, I don't know where I was going with this, but that was definitely a point. Oh yeah, my experience with Kinjaz going into it, because that's why I had such a fire. Because I feel like in Poreotics, I didn't really know what I was doing. I just knew that this is funny. Let's do this. I don't really know how to do this. I'm gonna do it anyway. And then after like those kind of years, I'm like, well, what do I really do? What am I truly capable of doing? And then being in front of other people and like finding other styles and realizing it. Like my perception of being on Kinjaz at that point was just like, damn, I want to be at that level. And it still is kind of that mindset, anytime that we're ever on the dance floor together, is like, I don't want to be like the straggler. I don't want to be looked at in the sense of like, oh, let's not ask him because I don't think he does this. I feel like even though like in times where I'm like, okay, I'm not for sure not gonna do the headstand piece. I'm not gonna do that shit. But like, no, I mean those kind of things.
You can do a headstand now.
you.
You've been practicing.
But that was my perception of no, I haven't. But that was my perception of Kinjaz though. Is like it was like the fire was back. The fire to grow into that next person was coming in. So
Yeah.
well, how was your perception? Because
Joining?
yeah.
I mean, reeling it back was that like, when you joined first, that was during like the Kenya dance show.
2013.
That's when I did Kinjaz.
2013.
No, that's when I did Poreotics
And
first,
Kinjaz.
and then I performed right after.
Kinjaz.
Yeah, that was fucking nuts.
I know, right? So like, you performed at that first, and then afterwards, when Law and I joined, was because like me and Law at that by the time me and Law joined, which was not far after that.
Time out. How did you guys feel when Charlie joined before y'all joined?
I didn't care. I was like, sick.
I love that. Move on.
I mean, was I supposed to think anything of it?
No, it doesn't matter. I was just
some-
asking just to be
some
curious.
people may have feelings about
Oh,
Yeah, I have no
those types
idea,
of things, yeah.
Like I said, we weren't
Yeah.
ever an exclusive crew.
Right.
It wasn't like Kinjaz or nothing. It was like,
Yeah.
hey, whatever you put in, you get
But
out.
I mean,
That's true.
But I mean, at that time, I was already cool with like a lot of you guys on Kinjaz. and
Oh,
stuff
yeah,
like
no
that.
doubt.
Like, I was already like, you guys were like the homies already, right? By that time, like, me and Law were already in like 13 of your videos because we helped you choreograph them, and as an assistant, you know what I mean?
Heyo.
So it's like,
Shout out, I would not be where I am without Chad Law or Charles. Because I and Poreotics.
Oh!
No, I'm not. I didn't make it. Move on.
Official.
What does it stand for?
Look up Poreotics level 3 performance.
No, I'm just trying to relive my childhood. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, and then so like I remember like I don't remember which rehearsal we came to, but then I remember you telling me that like you asked like a bunch of guys out of rehearsal like, hey, what do you guys think about us adding like Law and Chad to the squad? You asked like Pat Cruz, you asked like Mike and a bunch of like the guys, and there's like, oh hell yeah, fuck yeah, those guys are dope. And then everything is history. Like we're on the squad now, and it's like I love all those guys. You know, freaking, they all got babies, and I'm asking them, but like, hey, how's baby making and stuff like that, you know?
I joined Kinjaz and now I'm asking about baby making.
You know what I mean? But it's just like, that's what was cool about it, is just that like, when I made it onto Kinjaz, the cool thing for me, which I like to, what resonates with me is that like Poreotics taught me my technique, but Kinjaz taught me how to use my technique.
You
know what I mean?
That's a bar right there, bro.
Thank you.
That's a bar.
It's like I've learned all of this stuff that I could use, because at that time I was always like learning all this choreography and it's getting instilled into my body, but it's like I'm not using it to create for myself or using it to like do stuff, anything else other than on a performance scale. You know what I mean? And when I joined Kinjaz, like I was like, oh, you could use your technique. You could slow stuff down, you could speed stuff up, you could use other types of moves and move a certain type of way while still using that same technique that you use with Poreotics. And then that's where I was just like, yo, this is fucking sick. You know what I mean? Because it's like that kind of combines the whole aspect of like the whole battle between like the underground popping scene and like the choreography scene, where it's like you can semi kind of conjoin the two, which is like almost where the scene is at now, where it's like there's a lot of body control now if you look at like the competition scene now, and it's like back in like 2009 and 10 there wasn't too much of that. You know what I mean? So I feel like that at that point in time I was just like, yeah, this is unlocking a whole nother part of myself that was already in me, but I didn't know I could do this kind of stuff with it.
Chad was always a great performer.
The best.
Oh yeah,
Like facials,
still
like 11 out of 10.
100%. Yeah.
11 out of 10. Energy, everything. Always the best. Always the best in that aspect.
Hey,
but I mean, not to deflect on everything that you just said culturally about where dance was in that time, but just to also point out the fact that, like, you know, like, you're a great fucking performer, man. I did not learn how to perform without seeing.
And I didn't learn my comedy without you. It's okay, my friend.
Everyone takes my
Okay,
comedy.
Pika Chad and Charles Ard. If you don't know, or if you know, you know. Before Vibrancy and Kinjaz, all my edits were all with Pika Chad and Charles Ard. That's where Vibrancy started.
Oh, we
Just
should
kidding.
show them our NSYNC videos when we're in the hotel rooms.
Oh, those are great.
Yeah, we had a lot of silly things.
Yeah.
A lot of silly vlogs.
No.
But what are we talking about?
Yeah. Hey.
So now, yeah, no, I love it. So now you guys are on the squad. We can
Yeah.
be caught up chronologically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To where we
So
are now.
is Poreotics, like where is Poreotics now? We've seen you guys on World of Dance season 2.
Yes.
And yeah, I mean, I feel like there's still
Shit, man, now that you say that, now I think about one more thing that has to be
there's a lot of stuff that
Bring
happens.
it
talked
up.
about.
Bring it up.
Because somebody, not me, because I was never on the squad, but somebody on the squad left the squad.
Who was that?
No, I mean, I'm still on the squad.
That's also good to know, 'cause I didn't know that.
I left the squad. Yeah.
You left the squad.
I
I
left the
know,
squad,
and
yeah.
you're Miss Dearly. That's okay.
Oh, thank you. I think it was
Things happen in life, you know.
it was
so.
necessary. I mean,
Yeah, with whatever you're comfortable to unpack. Like,
I mean, you know, I'll go back to that time again where, you know, this like 2015-ish time. I'm like dancing a lot with Kinjaz, which is like super dope. And it's also like just showing me a light of like how like a good business is run. And you know, it's like really cool. Like, and I think at that time, like, I like it was going through that breakup. It was a wild time. You know, like missing CSLA, missing living at Bangoria. I gave up living at Bangoria for this
Wait, you
person.
were a Bangorian?
I was supposed to be.
Oh,
Anthony had
supposed
asked
to
me
be.
to live in Bangoria, but I had plans to move in with said person But I mean, you know, like that's like these are reasons, personal reasons why like I had made the decision. You know, the decision had already been made in my mind, but it just happened to be at the same time that, you know, Jet was also feeling that same way.
Yeah.
You know, and then we had to call this emergency meeting. Yes, we did. And it was at Snow Globe.
Was that a Snow Globe?
It was a Snow Globe.
But
it was
then we
in the
also had
parking
a
lot.
prior. Never mind. Continue. Sorry.
Whoa.
Still more detail. Yeah. Continue. Yeah. Snow Globe.
I
I love
think
Snow Globe.
this
Shout out
is-
Snow Globe.
I love Snow Globe. They're really cool. And then but yeah, I just remember like it was a time in my life where I needed to move on, you know, like I needed to grow. I needed to find myself again. I was finding myself within my other peers, Anthony, like, you know, and me even joining Kinjaz, like it wasn't just like Anthony like just like kind of bring me on. Like I remember specifically at a party, it was Lawrence Cow's like birthday or something like that. Like I like sat Mike and Ant down, you know, like I was, you know, messed up, and I was just like, honestly, like you know, like this is kind of how it's going right now, and I really want to join the crew, you know. And I said I'll do my best to do whatever it takes to be a part of the crew. Kinjaz, that is, you know. And ever since then, like I knew that I was on a new journey. Not to say that you know, I give up Poreotics and all of its, you know, all of its things that had happened with me, but I think it was time for me to just, you know, move on, because I feel like I was put in a position where I wasn't ready for a lot of the things that were on my shoulders. And I wasn't coherently doing a lot of things that I thought was right, or even my own voice. Because who's to say what my voice is back then when you're going through so much crazy shit, you know? And
It's true. Factual.
and that's, you know, that was why I quit. You know, it wasn't any, there wasn't like any particular situation, but it would there are quotes that I remember from, you know, people where they would say like, you know, like we've done so much already with the crew, like we performed here, we've done that, like what's next, like we've done everything,
Factual.
we've done everything
At that point in time, yeah.
yeah. And in my mind, like I wasn't
Except
ready
the
to give
Vegas
it up.
show,
Except the Vegas show,
which we
yeah.
turned down.
Which we
Sorry, I
turned down.
digress. Go ahead.
Oh, you guys had a Vegas show on the table?
We did, yeah.
El Cosmopolitan.
Cosmopolitan, when Cosmo first opened up. But I digress. Continue. I'll get into it when it's back to me.
That would have been a hot show.
But like that is
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really,
you know,
really
that is a crazy thing though, because, you know, especially at within our culture, within whether it be like the dance and the crew scene, the community, whatever, it's like that's our whole world.
Yeah.
That's
You know
true.
what I mean? You know, we're all still young, still, you know what I mean? Like we, especially at these points, we hadn't necessarily relished in or experienced like a lot of the later adult type experiences. That's a lot of all we really knew.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Especially coming out of like just being so hungry and thirsting for like the dance world, and not necessarily trying to like build all these businesses. Like this is the crew life is like your family, you know what I'm
True.
saying? So to like Ben said it earlier, you know, not everything lasts forever type stuff.
Yeah. Or even it's like the idea, like, and I was talking to someone about this the other day. It's like, you know, like being afraid to like leave a job because you feel like that's all you know. And I mean, I've worked multiple jobs and like was like, okay, I'm done dancing. It's like kind of that idea where you kind of convince yourself that this is all I know, so I have to stay. But once you like put yourself in that thought process, you kind of just give up on like the universe continuously giving you opportunities to grow. And like if you don't ever trust your soul and your heart to go for those things, even if it may go against people that want to see the same thing that they've loved for years. And like, you know, and it sucks for me because I can't give that back to like those true fans that were always there. And Poreotic fans were awesome fans. They were like really great fans, and I'm so thankful always.
I'm sorry we couldn't give you any more vlogs. I tried. I tried to vlog as much as I could.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of your vlogs.
And that's why I said pick a Chad and Charles Ard.
Oh, dude.
But
Like you guys have like seen us through our very vulnerable stages of life, you know, and my decision to, you know, move on from that and discover myself was definitely different with how I saw myself leaving, even for someone like Chad, because I feel like Chad and Law have always been, giving to the crew as well. Because at the end of the day, we worked in this kind of idea that there is a certain direction, usually it's Dumbo's direction of where this needs to go. Then we kind of add on to it continuously.
Yeah.
And
Like
as-
Dumbo would be the skeleton,
Yeah.
and then we would be the muscle of the body. Right?
Exactly.
Like we would add on to it.
Yeah.
But
and
like the muscle can't go if the skeleton's not there.
100%.
So
But I
that's
mean,
what
at the same time, Chad and Law have been working really hard on discovering what that skeleton is and making it for their own as well. Because I remember when I left the crew, you were still creating dope pieces. I remember that one Breakbot piece that we performed at WAD.
Oh
that
god. Wait,
that-
we did not perform
not Breakbot.
Dope. Breakbot, yeah.
What was it?
Body Gold.
Body
You
Gold.
guys performed Body Gold.
Body Gold. So like me leaving the crew, it wasn't only personally like, all right, fuck this shit. It was also more like, dude, like now you
Yeah.
have the opportunity to do your shit.
Mhm.
So like now you have to do it. You
And
know what I'm
also,
saying?
you leaving the crew is like, you, Chad, Law, and Jet are still rocking with Kinjaz. Like, we're still on stage
Yeah.
together, pretty consistent. You know what I mean? Community shows, like Southern California shows and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like, as much as the politics and
Yeah.
or the whatever it meant to be like associated with or to claim this, like we was all still fam, we was all
Exactly.
still within the same space together, you know what I mean? And just doing and again, to reiterate, Kinjaz was always like, you get what you give,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? So whatever was comfortable, like we was always just open doors for the people that like we consider brothers,
Yeah.
And then
No.
piggyback. Oh, sorry.
No, you go. You were in it. Go, get it.
I'm just kidding. I mean, piggybacking on like what Charles was saying is that like, I feel like there was also a difference in the dynamic when it was like, especially for me, as someone that didn't really choreograph as much. It's just like, you have, or like even a dance team in general. Normally you have like a team director, and then like everybody learns choreography and does it.
Yeah.
Right. So like there was definitely like that point in time where it's like, it was like that for a while, and then all of a sudden we're left with just us 5 to figure stuff out.
All we have left is what we came up with is what the fox say.
Yo, What the Fox Say was fire though.
That was
I
our-
love What the Fox
That was
Say.
like our we're alone, like our home alone.
Yeah. but there was also like because like there's a difference where it's like where you have a bunch of soldiers, and then all of a sudden we were all young at the time, right? And then as soldiers, you all start to grow into your own, because eventually soldiers rank up in rank in the years. You know what I mean? And then like, so at that time we were joining, like me and Law were like on culture shock and stuff like that, along with Charles. We started to figure out like what different direction kind of means, what it means to like be in like these weekly meetings, to kind of like, oh, this is a business meeting, this is a directive meeting, this is a creative meeting, this is how certain things should go in different kind of ways, you know, and stuff like that, and like start like whiteboarding things and stuff like that, right? So then like now like there was this era where it's just like, this was like, yeah, like right before you left, it's like we started becoming more of a brainstorm thing where we created What Did the Fox Say, because that was like us 5 collectively like, yo,
That's funny.
what should we, we're all being like creative together, and then like we're assigning different people to different parts of a song to choreograph to. This sounds like you, choreograph to that. This sounds like you, choreograph to that. And then let's all come together for a closer, and boom, that's our set. Kind of feel, you know what I mean? But like that's something that like we didn't really do before, and then so like that's how we started creating that. And then I remember speaking to Bo Fournier before. Shout out Bo, love you Bo, and he was like, honestly, that was one of my most favorite sets and pieces of you guys ever doing for what did the fox say, you know? And like we definitely had different iterations of it, but it was just like cool just because it was just like,
And it's also us doing what that was, understanding what we've done before.
yeah,
And we've done so much outlandish shit, like fart jokes,
yeah, all the time.
Kanye, Taylor Swift jokes.
Yeah.
So many different, like we did Friday by Rebecca Black on an ABDC episode. Jason Lynn he told me yesterday
yeah, we
that
brought
was
Jason
our
Lynn on.
worst performance on ABDC that we've ever done.
And that's the one he was on. It's good. No,
And
wasn't.
he was like, he even questioned the
Yeah.
producers as to why they would allow us to do that. And then I looked at him and I was like, You know, that's the magic of Poreotics.
Yeah. Honestly, we had a poll for Poreotics for ABDC because, like I said, season 5 was supposed to be the last season, but then we revived it a lot and brought a bunch of viewers. And they brought on season 6 and season 7, and they brought us back for both seasons towards the end because they wanted to pull us in to collab with like whoever was still in the season.
And that's when Jason showed up as Mini Dumbo. But yes, I digress. Shout out Jason Lin.
Oh my god.
Shout out Jason Lin, love you.
The history is so thick. The connections are
it's very
so
thick.
But yeah, there was
like
just
vines.
there was a lot of growth in that happening, and then like
Yeah.
with Charles leaving, and then that kind of put like at the time, me, Charles, and Law were directing Miniotics. And then when Charles left, it was just me and Law, and we were directing them. But then it ended up being me for a while, and then that's when we brought them to HHI, and then it just like smashed it. And
I was still
Love you
there for
guys.
HHI. I was still there for HHI.
I agree.
I still give love to Miniotics because
agree.
I still remember a lot of days where I would be directing them at a house, and I would also be questioning, why am I here, and like what are we doing
Because
here?
we love you guys, and look at you guys now.
Because they
Killing it.
also, you know, that's the crazy thing. They also went through a crazy time just as much as we did.
That's true.
You know,
That's
like they
very
also
factual.
came up with. They were also dealt with the, you know, just the how do we do this now? Like we have to remake ourselves.
That's true, because like during the first generations of Miniotics, it was also like very junior dance team where you have your director teaching you your choreography, you do it and perform.
Yeah.
And then when like me, Charles, and Law came into Miniotics, we're like, well, let's kind of treat it like how we're doing it now.
Yeah.
At that certain time, we're like, we're gonna try to train you guys to try to create choreography for yourself and mesh with yourself. That way, like the choreography feels like you guys and your personality, and that way you could put that on stage, because that's what helped us blossom on ABDC. It was our personalities, because we weren't the best of dancers at that certain point of time of ABDC, but like, yo, we freaking were charismatic as fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what we were trying to teach to like that generation of Miniotics, and then they went on, and then they were doing great things, you know, to the point where it's like moving on to like World of Dance and NBC season 2, because Kinjaz did season 1. Poreotics ended up doing season 2. By this time, Charles and Jet were already gone, because, you know, it's personal reasons.
Move on.
You move on with life.
Yeah,
It's
moved
like
on, yeah.
you can only come to rehearsal every day for so amount of time until gas gets really expensive, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like
We moved on.
by that time we added on like two new people, which was Aiden Carberry, who was Miniotics, and then Mino Iwasaki, who was on Culture Shock with me and Law at the time. Both of the dudes were as tall, if not taller, than Anthony, which is one of the reasons why we didn't put Anthony on the squad.
Timing, dude. It's a timing thing.
Timing it.
Timing's everything.
You want to talk about trauma?
But that's why we call them our twin towers, because they're always opposites. But you know, they're great. You know, they've been training with us like in and outside of Poreotics, and so we did NBC season 2, and by this time like Dumbo came back from Vietnam, so we had Dumbo, Can, Law, me, Mino, and Aiden, you know. And so when we did NBC season 2, we were just like, should we even do this? Because the reason why like we didn't want to do ABDC season 8 was we were just like, do we want to do this where we have a chance of losing, or do you want to just keep it as we're Poreotics season 5 winners without a loss? You know what I mean?
Which technically we already had a loss, because right after ABDC we did HHI again and lost to Request at Worlds. But yeah, please.
Well, we got second. Request got first. We got second.
Exactly.
But I mean, that's great. Second in the world.
As a friend.
Second in the world.
As a friend, though, like the fact that y'all
That's the
chose
suspenders.
not to.
Oh yeah, I still think that's a great decision.
Yeah.
But as a friend, the fact that y'all chose not to come on ABDC just to preserve that championship possibility, I think that also was like that's just not necessarily the best or right way to look at like competition. Because like if you're not willing to you know, put your title on the line at ABDC, but then you'll go to like HHI where it's like less known, so you can maybe preserve some sort of champ. You know what I'm saying? Like the fact that y'all didn't show up said something to some of us too, even though we loved y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed. But part of that was also because we knew Jabba wasn't doing it. We wanted to compete against Jabba, but
Fair.
We'll save that one for another.
Yeah.
There's a lot that we're taking out of this one.
5-hour podcast. Where's the part 2? But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just saying. It's like,
I mean, but that's all.
yeah.
that's all just like competitive
For
scene
sure.
stuff.
It
That has
is,
nothing
it
to
is.
do with
Agreed.
like this is my core life existence.
Agreed.
It's
But-
just
but
genuinely like
this
the
is a
circumstances.
conversation.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
conversation.
absolutely. Yeah.
But regressing back to like also our Vegas show that we were getting offered at Cosmopolitan, was that the reason why we didn't take that is because one, we didn't. They told us, they're like, we want you to rival the Jabberwocky show, and this was like right when we were straight off ABDC, and we're like, well, we don't want to rival the Jabberwocky show. They're the homies. You know what I
I
mean?
remember talking to you about this at the
Yeah.
dinner. Yeah.
Yeah, we was like, they want us to do a show, but like we don't want to rival them. And then at the same time, we're a bunch of like 20, 21-year-olds traveling the world. Like we've never been anywhere outside of like Westminster and like Anaheim and Torrance at that time. Now all of a sudden we're going to like Germany, the Philippines, Vietnam, like everywhere, you name it, right? So we're just like, yeah, let's do that. And so like we turned down a whole like collab with like Wayne Brady and Cosmopolitan to create a Vegas show. To who knows where we'd be now. You know what I mean? Like who cares about that 80 G's that our manager fucked us over with back then? Maybe we'd be like way better off, you know? But
That's true.
you know,
Yeah.
Life happens to all of us,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
exactly.
You know, and as I'm like hearing like just literally the whole conversation of all the random stuff that we didn't think we were gonna talk about, but we
Exactly.
did, which I'm glad because
Yeah.
it's like this is real stuff. And you know, something that you were talking about, Chad, earlier, you were talking about like just the maturity. You know, we were all young and we're all dumb and we have our egos and all that stuff you know, whenever we thought we were kind of in the mix or in like the heightened part of our careers. And then we make our decisions, you know, like whether regretful or not, or whether it's like, okay, yeah, you know, if I were to go back and tell my younger self, maybe take that a little bit differently. But at the end of the day, we made our decisions.
exactly.
And here we are.
20-year-old decisions.
Here we are in this room, you know what I'm saying? Like we have like hours of stories to tell for days. But you know, I think what I'm getting from everybody is like how you grow. Like
Exactly.
Yeah.
and
100%.
growth isn't pretty. Growth comes with pain. Growth comes with like ugliness. Growth comes with just like awkward phases of life. I mean, even physically, you know, as you go through puberty, it's just like awkward. Just like, I don't feel good right now. And I think that's just kind of like what I'm getting even from all of our experiences, you know what I'm saying? And like you talk about from being a soldier to becoming a leader, that comes through just like weathering storms. It goes through just being in the trenches in different ways. And even the stories that you guys are telling amongst yourselves that I've never actually known about you guys.
Oh, there's more.
And then also this three-way over here too. I'm
and
just
still
like,
more.
I never knew these things, but I'm like, it's beautiful. It's a freaking beautiful story because that's just all. Because I know who you guys are now, and that's why I'm like, okay, well, this is how we all got here. You know what I'm saying? It's a very arduous journey, and it comes with some battle scars.
Arduous indeed.
And you know, it is what it is.
But
you know,
I think I'm ready to talk about this now because I find hope that someone's listening to this and hearing these stories.
Yeah.
And you know, I never shared these things before. You know, I mean, I would share them when I'm like inebriated, like super inebriated. But but I think go back to your point, like I think this is gonna help out a lot of people in terms of making sure that their trust issues are unlocked. You know what I mean? So that they check for the things that they're going into business for, or check like you know.
Check your books all the time.
Yeah, check
Please.
yourselves. Check your own mental. If you have a problem with someone that you work with, like you need to talk about that. You can't just ignore it, because at the end of the day, that's going to rot and that's going to burn something in your hole. And maybe that is going to turn you into a butterfly like it did me. But maybe you can bite the butt on it now and have a freaking Vegas show.
Still going.
Like,
if you had bit it in the butt, you would have a Vegas show.
yeah.
And even like straight up, like to be absolutely selfish, straight up, you know, there's also like regardless of people finding inspiration from like our journey, I'm so thankful to be here to like recount a lot of these things, because there's going to be a day and age where we're a lot older, where we might not be thinking about these things, where we don't remember a lot of these stories, and we're going to be able to look back and at least we got a chance to like talk about all that stuff, and especially at a much more mature age where we could just talk about it. You know what I mean? Versus the younger egotistical, naive, cocky versions of ourselves that would question things but not necessarily understand the direction of the answers and why it was going to be beneficial to us, or whether it was going to even service the community of like what we were trying to do at the time, because so much happens so fast, you know what I mean, that all we were doing was trying to respond when most of the time we were really just reacting, you know what I mean?
Yeah, agreed. Very factual. There was a lot of reacting.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why we thank you guys and the brothers, because hey, look where we're at now.
And here
look
we
where
are.
still
We in here, man. We're moving together.
You know, like absolute shout out to other, you know, crewmates, both Jet and La De Vera,
Yes, sir.
that have, like, at the end of the day, small differences, you know what I mean, in thinking and whatnot is nothing compared to the shared life experiences and the growth that we've all provided for each other. None of us would be the people that we are if it wasn't for even the most minute interactions that we've had with all of the people that we consider family. And the beautiful thing about family is you don't always like each other, but you always love each other. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's so
Facts.
true, man. That's so true. Because I hate you right now, but I love you so much.
Hey, well, cheers to
Cheers.
something.
Hatred,
Cheers,
but
I'm just
love.
kidding. I'm just joking.
Hatred, but
I'm
love.
just joking.
But I mean,
Because I
like,
do, Nick.
And we love the fact that Panchi's in the house today.
exactly, Punche.
Panchi's back.
I don't know about you. I
That's
love
funny.
Jet, dog.
I love that
don't
too.
know.
I love Jet.
I know
I
you
freaking
love
love
him
you,
too.
Jet.
Get out of here.
But it also sucks that COVID happened, because Poreotics was starting to go back up, and then COVID happened. But it's
Hey,
okay.
there's
Don't get me
chapters, man.
started on COVID happened, bruh.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, honestly,
COVID been happening.
if COVID didn't happen, I probably would have been doing more Poreotic stuff.
Interesting.
And I might have not been as much around for as much Kinjaz stuff that we done.
Whoa. So thank you, COVID.
He's like, cut.
Oh my god. Panchi's over here mad dogging me.
Hey, one day when like, you know, we've run out of ideas of things to talk about on the podcast, we'll bring the same people on and let's talk about culture shock.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes.
That's the whole era of things that
Oh,
developed.
don't get me started on culture shock, dude.
Why are you saying that so bad? I
Yeah,
love
you
culture
look
shock.
disgusted
What the heck?
right
Culture
now.
shock was like everything.
I'm trying
Our
to
joy.
excite people.
All right,
Oh, Charlie's an actor. Charlie's
He is
been
an
acting
actor.
these days.
No, he's great.
Let's get in the fun
All right.
part of
Yeah,
this. Here we
so
go.
here we go, guys. You already know what's coming. The lightning round. We're gonna wrap this episode up with a fun little lightning round. So here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
Wait,
What-
does he answer?
Both
Both.
We'll figure it out.
At
Yeah.
the
Both.
same time?
Yeah,
Alright.
it's back to back.
Whatever happens.
Back to back? All right.
What anime character is your spirit animal and why?
Choji.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Very much so.
Why?
Choji, because he was a big guy with a big heart. And when it came down to it, he won his toughest battles. Did he get hurt? Yeah, he got hurt. But in the very last war, when they needed him, he turned into a fucking butterfly. And he took over. And that's how I see my life. I always looked at it like, I'm just another ninja, you know? I'm just another ninja. Whoop-de-doop-de-doo. I'm going to eat some Korean barbecue, you know? That's what Choji did. He ate a lot. And I saw that. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to spend all my award money on McDonald's. I'm down. I didn't really do that. But isn't that funny that if I did that, that would have been hilarious? But
Lightning
yes.
round. Lightning, Charlie.
Oh,
Lightning.
I'm
Lightning,
so
lightning,
sorry.
lightning.
I'm so sorry. But yeah, Choji, because he turned into a butterfly. I'm a
Boom.
butterfly.
Boom.
I mean, like, my favorite that I would want to say would be like Shikamaru, but only because like I just like in RPG, when I play RPGs, I always look at all the different like ways that I could, or options that I could pick, and try to pick the best one. I'll take forever on trying to figure out which one is the best like way to take. And even when I'm making edits for like videos, I'll edit something like 5 different times, and I'll be like, this is the best one. Then I finally pick that one.
Shikamaru, Choji are in the same crew.
Yep.
That's
Both
true. That's
from
very
Naruto.
nice.
Both Naruto.
Kinjaz.
Yeah.
Born Kinjaz. These are born Kinjaz, right? Born a Kinja.
Yeah, dude.
I was born a Kinja, then made a Kinja.
Ooh.
That's a very complex thing. Let's
That's
move
awesome.
on to the
Yeah.
next question.
Yeah.
That's for us, but let's move on to the next question.
Who is your biggest inspiration?
Ooh. Okay, I'll go first because you answered the last one. It's hard to tell, but from what I've known is that when I was like 2 years old, my mom said whenever MC Hammer would come on the TV, I would start doing the MC Hammer dance. not knowing what it is, who he is, but I would mimic the same exact dance that he does, where he does like the shoulder roll, moving from side to
Hammer
side.
time.
Yeah, hammer time. And then like ever since then, like my cousin would always call me like Crazy Legs, and then I became a robot and started not using my legs.
A pretty big jump, but
So I have no idea what your answer is, but I like it.
So MC Hammer started my dance career. There you go.
There
When
it
I
is.
was 2
Okay,
years
okay,
old.
MC Hammer. Shout out MC Hammer.
I'm gonna take it a different way because you said who is your inspiration. There's different inspirations for me, but I'm gonna say my eldest sister is my inspiration.
Okay.
Okay. Have her tattooed on my arm. Biggest inspiration because she taught me how to really enjoy life and how to fight for life. So
Yep. And for those of you not watching on Spotify, this is mine and Charles's handshake all the time. And I told him that this is my favorite handshake because I get to touch this tattoo. Because it's
That's
his biggest
beautiful.
inspiration.
that's very true. That's why I love Chad. That's my best friend. That's my best friend.
Wait, you're my best friend.
Lightning.
But yeah, lightning.
Favorite current ISO dancer?
Your turn.
Tony Tran. He'll always be my favorite. I don't know why, because he's really good.
Yeah, he's really good.
I mean, that's very factual. Freaking Tony Tran is definitely my favorite ISO dancer ever since I was on Back Modern. His revolver piece when he was on TM. What? Love you, Tony.
Heck yeah.
If I were to go elaborate to you, Anthony was one of them. Now it's Jason Lin. Okay, go.
Yeah.
Mike Song is also part of that.
Jason Lin, who
But I
was-
mean, I can say everybody.
Jason Lin,
but
who was
the main ones.
our Padawan, who has now surpassed us.
Ben Chung's
Wait,
also
what?
an inspiration
No,
to me.
never, bro.
Up there, going on my knees.
All very acceptable answers.
You want to tune into the YouTube version for this
So much depth and shallowness in one
I'm
moment.
trying to make it quick.
Most memorable performance, Chad.
one. Ooh, memorable performance? Like on stage or like music video?
Most memorable performance. Chad.
Period.
Oh, I
Stage
mean,
or music video or
Oh.
traveling.
easily Bruno Mars in the Philippines. That was wild. People thought our bus was Bruno Mars, and literally it was a sea of people shaking our bus side to side, and it felt like zombies trying to get into our bus.
That's very true.
But it was
That's
also a really
crazy.
fun performance.
That's
But that was wild.
That's factual. I'm gonna say I don't know why I can't think of any other ones except this Indian music video that I did.
Ganesh
Ganesh
Hedge.
Ganesh Hedge. We were in India and we did a music video.
And that's your favorite performance you've ever done?
I think not favorite. I think just really funny to mention.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
nice.
very
Because you would have
memorable.
never thought
Yeah,
that would have
it's
happened.
very
So it's
memorable.
memorable.
Yeah.
It's
Favorite
memorable.
performance: Taylor Swift, ABDC, season 1, season 5, season 6.
Least favorite performance ever.
Oh
Ooh.
shit! Rihanna, Umbrella.
I love the Rihanna umbrella.
I hate it.
What was a what were we thinking moment?
What were we thinking moment?
Oh god,
There were a lot of those,
there's
honestly.
too many. Man.
I already have one in my head for
Okay,
you
go.
guys. When you guys were at the JK News office and all of you dressed
Oh,
up as
that-
like
I
candy
know.
girls.
I
Oh,
know.
Joe, I watched that recently with Jolene, my wife, and she was just like, honestly, that was a really fun time.
Yeah, but like also like what were you thinking?
Exactly.
Okay. So if you need to know context,
I don't want to know. Let's not tell anyone. It was a mistake.
Poreotics clarity.
It was a mistake.
It was at the time of EDC, and we're dressed up as Plur.
Please stop.
Oh, honestly, that thing is great. You're about to see a spike in numbers on that video.
No, I hate that
Poreotic
video
clarity.
so
It's
much.
great.
We'll put that in the
Thank
show
you,
notes.
JK News or Jake. Just kidding, films. Thanks for using your spot. Love you.
Most memorable moment in all Poreotics travels.
Ooh.
Oh no.
I mean, I know mine is. But I mean,
Go for it. You go for
No,
it.
you first.
No, rock paper scissors.
Okay.
Red lightning. Whoosh.
What?
Ooh.
So I
So he
won,
still
so you
won.
go.
He still
Oh,
won.
you go first.
So I won, there you go.
What was the question?
Most memorable moment of all of Poreotics travels.
Travels?
So it doesn't have to be a performance. Just while you guys were
Definitely Africa.
Yeah,
When-
Africa was wild.
When we're on a
South
safari.
Africa? That's
no,
where
no. When
That's
we
not even an audio push. Oh,
yes.
Shout out audio push. Love you guys.
But we went to a museum out there on our, before our flight, and it was a very captivating museum of just like the history of Africa and Nelson Mandela. I thought that was like really beautiful.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah.
But then on a more like superficial note, for me it would probably be Australia.
Australia,
Mine would be Australia because that's like we had so much fun and we had a lot of macas.
That's a different
Macas.
podcast
Yeah, a lot of
as well.
Macas.
That's like a
That's heaps.
That's a Patreon podcast.
That's a Patreon podcast.
We need a paywall to let people know what happened there.
That's a paywall. That is where the growth of the relationship with KINJAZ and Poreotics realistically started.
Charlie, if you had to battle somebody right now, who would it be?
Oh.
I'll battle Jesus.
Oh wow.
Jesus,
That
as
was
in
deep.
Christ.
That's
Yeah.
deep as F. I didn't want to cuss in the name of the Lord. But what?
I don't even know how to receive that one.
I mean, I
Oh,
would. I mean,
I'm
if it's
gonna-
anybody else, like I would battle.
Hey,
if-
battle Jesus.
And I mean, if he's real, I mean, I think he's real. But I mean, I think he's real to a lot of people. So I would want to battle him because I think that would be a dope story to tell somebody. Like I got messed up.
Touche.
you know, and
Yeah,
if you
you'll get
battled
some street cred for
like
sure off of
Jesus
that battle.
Nazareth.
I also
type
didn't
stuff.
want to mention anyone, so I just said Jesus. So.
Oh,
Nice.
okay. Oh, that's
cool.
That's more understandable.
Oh, did I just say that out loud? My Tourette's. Oh man,
Your Tourette's.
sorry.
Your Tourette's.
I love how everyone in the room was like, Jesus.
Oh. You were like, wait, what?
If it's anyone that I want to battle, I want to battle J Lo.
Ooh, now we're getting down
Context,
to
go.
it.
Broke my heart into pieces.
Chad.
Honestly, mine would probably be either not either, both. Everyone on KINJAZ and everyone on Poreotics. Mainly because one, everyone on Poreotics just because I love them all, and everyone on KINJAZ because I never got battled in, and that's like our tradition to get battled in, but I never got battled in. And for me, it's not too much a battle, but it's more of an exchange of movement and who you are with all of your peers.
Whoa.
Shit just got real.
I'm gonna let that breathe for a second.
Yeah, that was like more real than Jesus
Yeah.
for a second.
Yeah.
Play the song. I'm just.
All the Kinjaz just
Introducing!
Look under your chair, Chad. It's like a sweatband. You put the
Oh
sweatband
my
on.
God,
Battle,
man.
guys.
That
That's
was
tight.
a little too good. A little too good.
Thank you. Hey,
Are
I'll
we-
cheers to that because I want to.
If you could go back in time and change something, what would it be? Whoever wants it.
I mean, you mean other than our money getting stolen?
Okay.
Well, see, the thing is,
100%.
you can't necessarily change that. Somebody else did something.
I
right?
can,
So what
because
can
I
you
could-
change?
Yeah, what would you be able to do to change
I could have
that?
been better at looking at our books because I was too trusting of our manager at the time. Whereas if I was to look at it back then, we wouldn't give our manager full 100% able to access everything, but realistically, you only give them a certain amount.
Mm.
Or they have to ask you permission to pull a certain amount.
Mhm.
You can't just pull 80 G's out of an account and use it. You know what I mean? So it's like, if I knew more back then as like a 24-year-old Chad.mayate, it's like, damn, bro, like, yeah, things could have been a little bit more different, and you could have had a little bit more longevity with stuff you could have did with what you had.
Just have more accountability.
Yeah,
Yeah.
more accountability, 100%.
I would change like the way I thought about stuff, or in terms of like my confidence to say things.
I see what you mean. Because I love the way you think, but yes,
Yeah.
confidence was definitely a thing for you in the
It's-
past.
Yeah,
I agree.
It still is, like a
Coming
sense
from
of
your best friend.
Exactly. Yeah, and you know me for sure, and that's something that I would change because I feel like I wish I had the cannoles to just like say what I was thinking, or not to say that everything that I was thinking was right, but just stand up for myself a little more at a lot of different times of life that I would do much more now, because it's just like 100% knowing of who I am. But like, I think back then I would definitely change the way that I would just stay quiet about things, and
You did
yeah,
when you had a really good voice at that time.
I did.
Like,
yeah,
like you could hit those high notes in songs.
I can still hit high notes.
You still can.
Hire me.
Hey, Charlie guy, I will say from where I sit, I see tremendous growth
Thank
Mhm.
in
you.
that department.
Thank you. Took tremendous trauma. I'm not gonna just say like the normal thing. There's like all comedians are all like sad. It's not true. We're not sad. We
Did you
just
say we're not all that sad? So
Yeah,
you're
we're
saying
all
you're
not that
You're
sad.
saying you're a comedian.
Yeah.
Check out Charlie's stand-up show.
I did.
coming up
I did a
soon
stand-up on my road, on my traveling trips.
You did a stand up?
I did. It was in
Let's
Dallas.
go,
It was in
baby.
Texas. Yeah.
What?
Don't YouTube that.
YouTube it.
I get it. I get the idea of using comedy to
Mask and hide.
to
things that
no
happen
to
to
actually
you.
express what you went
Yeah.
through, but not want to cry about it.
Yeah.
Like you still want to share what you went through, but the only way to manifest it is in a way that's not going to hurt you again.
Oh,
So
agreed.
comedy is like such a great out for that.
That's true. That's very true. And I'm sure a lot of people that are comedians, because I say we because I feel like a lot of people, close themselves off because they are seen as type of, an outlandish type of personality where they would, and I'm saying that more so in my own experience, but just kind of own it a little more, because I feel like a lot of the times, and this is not lightning at all, but this is more for a lesson for people, just to be themselves, like don't let people talk to you as if like you're foreign to them. Like you're not foreign at all. Everyone is unique in their own way. Everyone has their own way of speaking,
Facts.
and I didn't get this way like on my own. Like I genuinely, ever since the start of this process of a podcast, like thank everyone that I've talked to or been in communication with or a part of whatever crew, because at the end of the day, I am still very blessed to have been doing what I have done for the past 15, 17 years, or however long, because I can't do math right now. But I want to, yeah.
That's why I did the books.
Like it's and I hope people that are listening to this and vibe with this, like I hope you get just that thought in your head of like, yeah, like I'm gonna be more of myself, because at the end of the day, you're gonna find yourself.
Facts.
And you're gonna want to be more of yourself because it's okay to be that way.
Exactly. And I love Charlie as he was back in the day, and even more as he is now.
And I love Chad always. He's never changed. He will always be a performer and an excellent, smart individual.
Oh,
Jack
hey.
of all trades. Jack of all
Stop it.
trades. He took my
Dude.
comedy, but I let him. It's cool.
That's only because I got
It's
it from
alright.
you.
No,
I
I'm
saw
just
how
kidding.
funny you were, and I was like, that's why I'm hanging around you.
No,
I just need to rub
no.
off on me.
This is when me, Ben, and Nick slowly exit the room.
I know.
and
You
turn the
start
lights
making
down.
out.
Thank you guys for tuning in to
start
Kinjaz
making
Convos.
Nah, man. The bromance is real and the respect is real, and we love it. We love it.
So next lightning question.
This is where lightning starts tailing off. This is
Yeah.
like the storm is kind of
It's like a
weathering
All
out.
right,
river.
let's go.
If you could prescribe one thing, and let's try to make this
easy.
real quick.
Okay.
Go for it.
Prescribe one thing to the world, everything or something that everybody should do once a day. What would that be?
Laugh.
Love it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, bouncing off of that, I was taught at a very young age is keep a smile on your face to try to put a smile on everybody else's face. You could be at a coffee shop, and like the person that is trying to get you coffee could be having a really bad day, but then if you're ordering your coffee and you're just giving them a really good energy and like smiling at them, you can make their day and put a smile on their face, and that can make uplift their day. So
That is a Chaddest
That's the-
answer I've ever
that's
heard.
probably one of the most reasons why I'm always smiling, because I don't even remember who taught me that, but I learned that at a very young age. Yeah,
Wow. That was
and I love my
It's
parents.
probably
and I don't
MC
think-
Hammer.
It was probably MC Hammer.
your
Probably
inspiration, MC Hammer.
Yeah.
That's why we give it that. Punchy, we love you. He's given us the smile of the day. Now we're all.
If you're on
It's
the
a
YouTube
smile on
version,
a
it's
phone.
it's
On the
Literal
YouTube.
freaking
yeah, it's a
smile on
phone
the
with a smiley face on it.
I'm gonna start drawing on this if I hold this.
That is hilarious.
And that's why we call you Glad Chad, man.
That's why I'm glad, Chad, baby.
All right, so you already know how we close this off.
You know it,
Mastery,
baby.
right? Bruce Lee said, "I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times." What is something that you guys feel like you have mastered by putting in that much time, effort, blood, sweat, and tears into?
This fucking move, this fucking
Yeah, this move, I guess you use it in everything. Okay.
You go first. Like, this is a hard question,
All
dude.
right, for sure. I mean, for me personally, I would never practice one move 10,000 times. I'd probably practice 3 moves 3,333 times. Because in overtime, those 3 moves, even though I practiced it that many amount of times, using it on the field and doing it like in whatever I'm doing, it's eventually going to raise to that 10,000 times. so that I can but get better at 3 different things to eventually reach that 10,000 kicks. So as far as like if that's dancing, if that's like doing videography, if that's doing like producing any other things, I don't have, in this day and age, I don't have to master one specific thing. But if I could do 3 separate things very exceptionally well, and it just gets better and better the more I do it, then I'll eventually reach a mastery at all 3 of those things in just one thing.
Whoa. That's such a Chad answer to bend the logic of the question like
Second
Thank you.
chattest
But
answer I've ever
also,
heard.
So true though.
I see you, bro, because I see you
Oh.
in practice. I see you in practice.
So I guess if y'all say one word, what, adaptability?
Yeah, Chad's
Chameleon?
dancing, video editing, and gambling.
AKA his bookkeeping, his numbers game.
Yeah, so
That's good. That's the chattest answer I've ever heard since the last one.
what was the last one?
About 45 seconds ago.
I want to say if you're to master anything, it's understanding how you feel when you're doing something.
Mhm.
I think there's a true power in knowing when you're doing something and you have an extreme passionate feeling to continue to do it, and when you have a rather exceptional experience doing that thing. I think knowing the difference between those two things without understanding or without like demeaning the factor that you're doing this for someone else, but truly understanding that feeling in yourself, how that makes you feel, how that makes you think, how that makes you want to go about what you want to do. I think that's mastery of its own level that only takes growth and experience. But you can do that. Anybody can do that. Do something right now if that gives you true joy. What is stopping you from doing that? Are people saying that you're doing that too much? But they don't know that you're having this certain feeling while you're doing that. So play your game. That's fine.
Games are great.
Play golf all day. That's fine. Not
That's
all
good.
day, but like for what like
You
do
know.
what makes you happy. And if that comes into performances, if this sad song that you want to choreograph to is like right there and you can make the moves to it because it feels good to you, do it. No one's stopping you.
Accept yourself.
So feel what you do, know who you are. No, wait, that's a weird one. Feel what you do. That's
Do
the
what
second
you
one.
are. Wait.
Uh,
No, that's not what you were saying.
Feel what you do. Who
Are you?
are you?
So what you're saying is you've mastered the ability to feel what you do.
Well, no, where Charles coming from, Charles has actually developed a really, really good skill on this. Like, there was definitely a point in time where it's like, hey, Charles, do this. Hey, Charles, do that. Blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Or like, hey, come do this. You want to hang out?
Facts.
And it's like he would just participate. And then he got to a place where he started really paying attention to himself. He started meditating. He started working out every single day.
True.
He started really thinking about and recognizing like how he felt. And so he would even like at little victories, right? It was even the moment would be like, hey, no, let's hang out. Let's drink. And he'd be like, nah, I'm gonna go home, Ashley. And you could tell he would take you could tell it would take a moment for him to really think about it, and then he'd be like, I'm gonna make this call because it's good for me. And like that's literally, this is what I said earlier in the pod. He's from somebody who I consider flaky to becoming literally one of the most disciplined people I've met in my entire life. You know what I'm saying? I think it's because he mastered being in tune with the honesty of like what he was experiencing and feeling and registering like this is what he wants for himself. And I respect that so much.
Facts.
I love
Yes.
you, man.
And
I
that's
see
why
it.
he's
I
grown.
recognize it. I recognize it. And I affirm that. Guys,
Ben,
bros, brothers,
Anthony,
brothers,
Charles. brothers,
Wow.
brethren.
This was a long ass
This
pod,
was
dude.
a long episode, so enjoyable.
I don't know what I'm gonna cut out.
This was like our therapy a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
I mean, I was just fly on the wall on this one. I was just watching most of the time, just observing this. But like, we had the episode with Quest Crew, which took off and did its own thing. I feel like this is
Oh, I love you guys.
our own version of this. Like, kind of, it hits closer to home for me.
And these are
because-
our own perceptions. Like
Yeah.
we don't have other people
Yeah.
here.
We
Like
need,
but,
yeah, next
like-
time maybe we'll get like Jaw.
I'm busy that day.
Jet, Can, Dumbo, because
I'm just
love you
kidding.
guys.
Yeah. Hey, well, I got so much respect for you guys. I personally didn't. I mean, I've only known you guys prior to Kinjaz as Poreotics. Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, that's Poreotics. They're the other season winners of the show that we want or whatever.
Yeah.
But when I got
Wait,
down,
wait, hold on.
don't
mean
tell me
like-
you have an ABDC.
You
shirt
mean like
on right
these
now.
guys?
Oh
These
shit!
guys?
This fool did not hold on to this shirt for like the last 7 hours just to rep it at the last.
What's up,
second.
baby?
That's so Chad.
Tune into YouTube if you want to see the Poreotics shit that we repped off for Taylor Swift.
Oh my
What's good?
God.
You know, actually, it took me. I couldn't fit into this shirt for the past like 4 years, and then like this year,
You've been working out, bro.
today I put it on. I was like, and I went to my wife. I was like, it fits. It fits.
You are so hot.
I'm gonna let that breathe for a second.
I don't know what to say.
Boom, baby.
Well, with
Lost
all
the
that
voice.
said,
Lost the
I really haven't gotten into, really knowing you guys as brothers and as friends until Kinjaz, and then
Facts.
it takes a podcast for us to hear stories that I don't even think any of us knew.
Anthony's just like, I hate you right now.
But so much respect to you guys, and so much respect to all of Poreotics, like straight up, man. Like you guys, legit have shaped this culture, have shaped our community, has pushed the envelope, moved the needle for dance, for Asian Americans, for all of this. You know what I'm saying? And for us to be able to sit in this space, call each other squad, be same crew, and then still be in the position of like, oh, we're not done. Like we're still here to keep doing what we can, even amongst the challenges of a pandemic that we're all trying to figure out how to navigate out of. Like there's so many things, and people have pivoted music production to like honing in more on your editing, camera skills, to like, still dancing. You know what I'm saying? Like we're still trying to do all the things that we've always loved and have been known to do, but then also figuring out new ways to innovate and figure out how to evolve. You know what I'm saying? And so being able to witness both of your guys' journey has been a blessing. It's been inspiring, and I'm always encouraged and pushed by you guys. So just thank you guys for coming on and sharing your thing.
Obviously, I want to echo Ben's sentiment about it. It was already such like an honor when y'all, don the mark of the kin, put that ink on y'all's fingers. Yeah, absolutely.
Too.
I know. I love that, so much. And
Poreotics,
there's no deeper commitment. There it is. There's no deeper commitment than to like display that, you know what I mean, for the world to see. But it's so dope that even in intimate moments like this, we still get to, recall things that either we haven't talked about, we're sharing, with our own brother Ben right here, you know what I'm saying, like news stories and stuff. But in that same concept of like things that will exist like formally, because there's so many stories that we'll never have documented, right? But in this moment that we get to like put something out there, like it's such a dope opportunity for me to share that, like, again, formally, like I would never, Law de Vera included, I would not be the creator and dancer and mover that I've become if it wasn't for you two specifically. And Law, you know what I'm saying? You've always been more than there for me. You've helped me become who I am. And just the journey is like still, because I still consider us young, I still feel like the real journey is still yet to really blossom. You know what I mean?
35 is the new 21, baby.
Yeah, everything that we've gone through has already been like such a blessing. But what I know about to experience for the rest of life, because I think we passed that threshold. You know, when they say things like, on average, friends might last like 7 years in your life, but then like the ones that stick around way longer, chances are they're probably going to be for real around. It's like that only means that like we've still yet to uncover some of our most wild adventures. And knowing the personalities that we are, there's going to be some wild adventures to come, and I can't imagine, continuing life without like always having y'all around. So
yeah, I can't wait for you guys to drink with my kids. Wait, what?
Speaking of, you have some news for us, Chad? What's going on? Is this where you're gonna drop?
I
something?
mean, I'm just kidding. Nah, we're not there yet.
oh shit!
Damn. I like
my
heart
head would have
drop.
literally
Just
exploded.
kidding.
My head would have literally exploded.
Wow. But I also want to say, send the same sentiment to Kinjaz Podcast too, just from like being a part of it from the early ages to even like seeing where it is now, like even seeing like Chad here along with it as well, and me not being a part of it, which I'm totally okay with, guys. Like, don't get mad, it's fine. But I do love that this knowledge, seeking of knowledge, is still here. And I can truly say that, like, moving even further on into the years, that my time on Kinjaz Podcast was another reason for me to take time to find myself again and to find my purpose. So I'm here with Chad today and with Ben and Ant in hopes that anyone that's listening and is going through like their own troubles, going through whatever they're going through, to just continue to push forward, because life is a continuous pendulum of joy and suffering, but there are always such beautiful moments in between. And if you party as hard as I did during my famous D-list years, like
We were like C-list.
we were C-list, I was D-list.
Actually, no, I was told we were C-list from a friend that does.
Feel free to move on.
I
sorry.
just hope that you
Continue.
find it for yourselves, and I hope that you believe it in yourselves to become who you truly want to be. So, but I thank you guys for having me.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Charlie.
Here, here.
I'll tell you right now, man. The podcast wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for you, bro.
Facts.
Straight the freak up, man.
OG tripod.
So just big.
Still
big-
here, y'all.
big
Still made that
shouts,
theme
man.
song. I
Big
still need to make a
flowers
new
to you,
one.
bro.
Hey,
Oh yeah, if you
Yeah,
guys
you
didn't
didn't
know,
know.
the new theme songs, the Charlie got production. So
It's all right.
he got a
Look
lot
at
more
that.
catalog.
Charlie guy.
Okay, I hate COVID, but COVID gave me music production.
Look at that.
But yeah, that's enough. That's enough for me. I love you guys.
Guys, we know that this was a little bit of a longer one, but this was also for us, but also for everybody who tuned in today. And we appreciate you guys listening. If you guys are finding this episode for the first time, we have a whole catalog of amazing episodes with amazing people, amazing stories. And so follow us on social media. We're on all of it: IG, Twitter, Facebook, KINJAZ Podcast, Cast with a K. If you really like us, go on to your podcast platform, leave us a 5-star rating, write us a review, screenshot your phone, let us know you're listening, tag us, we'll regram all that stuff. And we just appreciate you guys spending some time with us today, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Kinja Bang.
Kinja Bang.
Kinja
Bang.
Wish you the most success in life.
Bang.